is that men also have tits. We get excluded from these conversations so frequently.
Yeah,
just because they're flat doesn't mean we can't be in the conversation.
You know what?
Yeah.
Personally, Raz, yes. I support that. I do think that we should have a Senna Kagura instead of, a bunch of female shinobi. I do think that we need to see our guys in there. I 100% agree.
Okay. Let's actually talk about the game itself. All right. Now,
Peach Beach Splash is a third-person shooter.
Yes.
Where essentially it's, I believe, like 5-on-5. You're all in a big arena.
Yes.
And you have, essentially like a resource meter, which is your water. Now, in a sense, this is like Splatoon, just minus the tentacle and only the girl.
Yeah. Yes. Now, there is one thing that I saw there that, if I'm going to try and break it, there's plenty of things.
A pair of
things. A pair of things.
Yes.
So it seemed like there was a lot of auto-firing, though, almost like a lot of homing attacks, which isn't necessarily the best thing, but it depends on how that actually plays out. Is there defense mechanisms to prevent those homing attacks from hitting? Because as we see with games like Call of Duty, for example, when people were talking about the ideas of kill streaks getting involved, it was something that you are not in control of should not assist you in being able to win the game. So that is something that I raise you a question on. Is
true.
Totally.
From a popular person, I heard online that aim assist is a lot less skillful. So
I 100% agree with you. And Raz, I think this is something that you actually observed in the pre-stream of the show as we were playing, that the aim assist that you have is not always accurate. It gets you kind of over to where they are, but you still have to follow them with the cursor. Now, that being said, this game actually has a lot more in-depth and strategy around it, and that's where the cards come in. Now, there are playing cards that you can essentially customize and outfit.
Okay, so a little like Paladins then? Like Paladins had their card system?
I do not know what that game is, so I will not acknowledge it.
All right.
Okay, well then.
Uncultured,
but
I can
with
understand.
With these cards, you can essentially customize if you want an aggressive support pet or a supportive support pet. You can add barriers, barrier breaks. So basically, if someone is just coming at you with, whether they're homing in with a sniper rifle or a Gatling gun or something like that, you do have opportunities for counterplay, and that's where the barriers come in.
Okay, what about maneuverability? Because I saw that there was jetpacks and stuff.
Yeah, so there are jetpacks, and essentially you have to be very careful with it because it utilizes the same resources, which is your water. So if you do one jet forward, that's an entire shotgun pump, right?
Okay, so it's kind of like Splatoon with the ink, right?
Yes,
where,
but minus the tentacles.
But then with
keep
titties.
the girl.
Exactly.
It's just tentacles better than the titties.
Yes.
Okay. Now, and also, it's very hard to focus as well because our producer Trey keeps just going into my ear saying titties. So it's not the most. It's really tough. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that's Trey in your ear. I think those are just the voices.
Those are the voices in my ear.
Okay, that's fair.
But Raz,
and this is why I think it is a good esports, because it challenges your ability to focus, right?
Yes.
All right, this is I gotta hear this one.
I think.
Go on.
Even adding to it as well. You know how there's new technology out there that checks where you're looking with your eyes? Eye trackers, yes. I feel like if you add that to the esports and you lose points based on where you're looking, I don't need to go into the details.
Well, we all know where you're looking
exactly. Then it's a bit of a competition.
But counterpoint, Raz, you get extra points if you aim for the swimsuit top.
True. I will also say that danger to the Twitch users out there that are playing this game. I got to play the game with Ovly a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Let's just say a lot comes off.
It's tastefully censored.
So here's where I struggle with tastefully censored. That's good. Here's where I struggle with it, okay? And why I think it can't be an esport.
Okay.
Because of the tetas, okay?
Yes.
Because that is not something. Think about, could you see a possibility where you're in Barclays Center or something like that?
Okay, and let him finish.
You're playing this game, and then you got kids in the audience. Why are you guys getting so intense?
Let's go.
No, explain.
Okay.
Come on, let's hear
it. And then
in detail.
And then there's the shot that goes off, and then a girl happens, then damn it, Trey. Then the piece comes off and stuff. Yeah. But yet you look in the audience and you see a mother there with her kids, and you're thinking to yourself, this isn't a game that people should be watching. You're limiting your audience.
You're telling us
I got it. You're limiting your audience.
I'm limiting my audience.
You're limiting your audience because a certain age group can only enjoy it.
You know how old I was when I discovered hentai?
There we go.
Avali.
It's come.
As a child.
Do we need a therapist?
I thought we were trauma dumping earlier.
Yeah, I thought
that's just for the entire show. No, but this is what I'm going to say. Yeah. This is what I would have thought of if I was the mother in question, or if I was the children in question, or if I was in the audience in question. I would look up at the huge screen in the Barclays Center. I'd look up and I'd go, this is awesome.
Yes, yes.
And that's it. That's it, GB. In what realm are you going to have these amazing characters with in-depth background and story? They've got as much lore as League of Legends champions, GB. Sure, we don't have an Arcane show yet. Actually,
the show has cutscenes, by the way.
It has
the game has cutscenes.
Can someone Google check this for me? Is there a Senran Kaguya anime show out? There's got to be an
If there's not an anime, it's another category, I can tell you that much. It starts with an H, ends with an I.
R-A-N Kaguya. K-A-G-U-R-A.
Yes. Oh, God.
Perfect. Yeah, there's a TV show?
Okay.
Arcane!
Not even in the
So this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to say.
Okay, go first.
Do not judge a game off of the mass of the titties.
Don't judge a game by its booba.
Don't judge a game by the booba.
Unless if it positively... League
of Legends is a game with booba. Overwatch, the game that you still like for some reason, has Widowmaker, and that's French booba.
That's one character.
You even had Tracergate.
Okay, but it's not like you're shooting Tracer and then her trousers fly off,
Well, maybe they should. Maybe that's why Overwatch League failed. I assure you.
Did it fail?
I assure you.
Did it fail?
Look.
I'm sorry. No, wait.
Okay,
What happened?
What happened?
It's still. It's still alive.
We're gonna get another season of the league.
Another season?
You know what? We're gonna have more players playing Overwatch than freaking Peach Beach.
That's okay. So now let's get down to the.
Think about why the game died, Avali.
I know. Let's talk about it. The game died because it was just ahead of its time.
True.
No, Shadowrun was ahead of its time.
No, if Peach Beach Splash had come out this year, where we have TikTok, where we have social media, where we have everyone being like body positivity, titty positivity, booty positivity, then this game would have skyrocketed.
When did this game come out?
This came out in 2017.
Oh, good graphics for its time.
No. Someone fact check that.
So you missed the Zoomer train, is what you're saying, right? Because that's...
We missed some of the Zoomers, and also it wasn't...
You're looking at me so judgmental.
I'm just saying.
He's just
2017. Yes. 2017. Okay, so if this game had come out now, it wasn't always okay to, one, talk about gaming, and to, two, openly talk about booba. All right?
True.
That's fair.
In these days, in 2022, you know what people would be saying? Yes, queen. Yes, bitch. No, that's what they would be saying. That's what they would be saying if they would be playing the game.
All right.
If it was on TikTok, that would be the only comments you would see.
I'll say this much. I always appreciate your ability to be passionate about a topic, even if it is just absurd and ridiculous. So, guys, give it up for Avali. Give it up for Avali.
The final verdict in the esport.
You know what? I support you, Avali.
Yes!
So I will say that Peach Beach could maybe, in some multiverse that Doctor Strange didn't destroy, could be an esport. So there.
Woo! Raz!
I agree!
Yes!
There it is. There it is.
If wrestling can be in the Olympics where you can see some nip slips and also some bulges, and a lot of physical activity, so can Peach Beach as well.
There it is. There it is. All right, folks. That's all the sexy anime game discussion we have for this episode of Boosted. However, when we come back, we're actually going to be doing something that is just as ridiculous. And yes, the outfit will be out.
Woo!
I'm here for it.
I gotta go.
Let's go.
That was good. Go.
Okay.
I didn't realize there would be actual applause.
Yeah! Life-changing.
That's all you do in this game. Graphics and what have you.
Marvel Spider-Man by Insomniac Games.
gets a 5 out of 5.
So I have a question.
Am I considered a classic?
Zelda! Oh.
GB. Never mind, we are. I'm sorry, I'm confused. All right, guys.
You've got
last week we had a bet on the show, and why don't we go ahead and take a look at it?
I'm ready for it.
Golden Boy taking advantage. The 24-hour champion rule in effect, sees that Avali is the champion, goes after her right away.
Are you guys just gonna play for nothing?
Y'all not.
Yeah,
Put some stakes on it.
So first off, whether it's lunch, a ride home, y'all gotta put something on the line. You guys work together. It gotta be lunch or
all
something.
right, fine. Yeah, Avali, if I lose, I will put on the Chun-Li outfit.
You will rock the Chun-Li outfit? Yo, say that again into the camera. Say it again into the camera.
If I lose, I will wear the Chun-Li outfit for a segment on our an episode of
for the
Boost.
entire next show.
So if you lose this match, you're going to wear the Chun-Li outfit this next match?
I will wear the Chun-Li outfit.
Okay. Yo, this is actually pretty intense right now.
Yeah.
I like how quiet it is.
He learned I was going to the fight.
No! Stop it, Frost!
Woo!
No! Frost, stop it!
Go, Avali! Get it, Avali! Go!
Let's go, Avali!
I was doing great! I was playing so well!
What did I tell you? I told you.
Oh, God.
Oh! Did he come on? No! Running away!
Oh, my God!
Now you know why we play fighting
And
games.
this is why
Now you know why we play
fighting games. Look at this.
my
All you had to do was hit a controller, and now he's gonna dress like Chun-Li. Are you gonna have the hair extensions too? You gotta go full blown. The hair
boots
lines.
too?
The boots, bro.
I'm at the mercy of our producers. But for now, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and I'm going to reevaluate my life choices.
Oh, Golden Boy!
Come out to play!
No, I refuse. No.
Bring him out! Oh! Let's go! Oh!
Do a spin! Jimmy, do a spin! Do a spin for us! Oh my gosh!
Fabulous! You look
spin
fabulous,
kick!
honey.
Spin kick!
Do it! Do it!
Spin
Yeah!
kick.
Yeah!
You know, the hair is supposed to be up in buns, but I'll let it slide.
Why do you have to walk so hench? Why can't you, like, I don't know, get into
Yeah, give me a walk.
Come on.
I can't. I don't know how to walk in this. I feel it's breezy.
You
It's
just
too
walk
breezy.
Let's see her ultimate kick. Go.
Well, one thing
then
I am
pose.
really excited about, you know, they used to call me Thunder Thighs back in high school, because look at these bad boys right here. This is what you're paying for, everyone.
You think?
This is the content.
I would be throwing money.
Thankfully, I wore good boxers, though, so it's nice, you know?
We need another bet.
Yeah, that we do.
Whatever we end up doing, you got to take that off, too.
Well, no, you need to stop right now. Let's get on with this disaster. Sometimes on this show, I feel like our producers have just given up. And this is one of those times. So for the first time in forever, by the way, we are actually maybe going to have live events. The LCS, it's hard to take myself seriously while I look like this.
I think you made great life choices and you look fantastic. But you just need to work it, Queen.
Do we look similar?
Yes.
Do we? Come here.
No.
I don't have your...
Oh my God,
they're
twins.
You want to get a beard.
One sec.
Twinsies.
Oh, yeah, actually,
there we go. Yeah,
the resemblance is uncanny. The LCS is going in person on the road. We're going to have people in attendance for the mid-season showdown, and to celebrate, our producers have hidden plane tickets in each of these suitcases. Now, our job is to pick a partner and race to see which team can find their ticket, then repack all the crap in the suitcase first. The catch is that the person touching the suitcase has to be blindfolded, and because the torture obviously isn't enough, I'm going to be blindfolded now. So, yeah!
Raz,
yes?
Would you do me the honor of being my partner?
Of course. Take it away.
Oh,
Girl, you worked it.
Ooh,
you deserve
you're so silky.
I honestly do not trust you, Amelie, but...
Work it.
Yeah, watch out for my hair.
No.
You know, I would say the one thing that this does do is it gives me hair, and it makes me feel good.
I'm going to say that you look very strange with hair, GB. I think
keep
the
it on.
bald is a good look.
Yeah.
Is that tight enough?
Tighter.
What is wrong with you guys?
Yes.
And I'm the
harder.
And I'm the okay. Okay. Well, here we are.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Let's just reevaluate the game. Inside this, there are tickets. They must find the tickets. First team to do so, and then put it all away wins. On your mark.
Okay. Get ready to open up the bag.
Amelie and I are only guiding our partners. We may not touch what is ever inside. No touching.
No touching.
No touching.
No touching.
No
No touching.
touching. No touching.
My
Okay.
bad.
On your mark, get set, and go.
Go, Raz, go. Go, you gotta open up that backpack.
I can do it.
Did you pull all zippers?
Watch my glasses.
Got more zippers.
Good.
I'm an expert on zipper technology.
Throw it. Raz.
Don't throw anything.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Where am I?
Take this. Yeah. That paper.
Just take all that stuff out.
Is this it?
Throw the taxes.
No
That is it. Put it down.
Where?
Just next to you.
Keep
Now
tossing
pick everything
things
else
out.
up.
Toss them.
More.
You can't behind you on the floor. There's more paper. Grab
On the
Is this
floor.
good paper?
No,
Is this good?
Yes.
Where?
That's
Yes!
What
I got the ticket.
Hold on to it.
Is this
Hold on.
mine?
No, that's not yours.
Okay.
Put it back.
Is this theirs?
That's
We're
theirs.
stashing it.
Wait, apparently that's not the ticket.
Okay, now
What?
put some stuff. Now bend down directly
on it.
underneath.
It says ticket.
To the
Grab
camera.
that.
What is that?
Grab this.
Two things, yes.
Yeah.
Put it in.
Okay.
Okay, now directly underneath you. Directly
start digging
underneath
through.
you.
Yeah.
Behind, back up.
I found paper. I found paper.
Pick that up.
I love
Touch that
chicken.
cat.
Yeah, okay.
This?
That's a cat.
Go,
Where?
keep going.
Okay, I'll keep this ticket.
Toss it.
It's right next to you.
It's right next to me, damn it!
Right there.
Shoe. That's a shoe.
Just back up.
Yes.
Reach in front
Back
of you.
up.
Reach in front of you.
Now put in front of you.
Graded
Right here.
down.
Thank you.
This.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank God.
Okay.
Okay.
Up the
Oh, Frost is mean.
Now put it in here.
Put it in here.
Now put it in there.
Okay.
Now close it up.
Be a zipper. Upper left.
Now zip it up.
Upper left.
Okay, is this it? Am I closing it?
Yeah.
A little bit further up. A little bit further. You
Now,
found the zipper. Pull that open.
Next
Pull
to
the zipper
package
open.
is the
Zipper
ticket.
open.
Yeah, that's
Every
it.
time I go to the
Hold up
washroom,
camera.
this is my
The other
practice.
way.
We win.
No, you gotta turn it thing.
What is that?
We win.
It says Crew. Turn it upside down. Crew Esports Group B.
How is that not it?
Is this the ticket?
Is this it? No.
Oh, okay, throw
This isn't the ticket.
It says ticket.
Where's the ticket?
There's no ticket in here. You've opened everything. What the? Raz, pick up the suitcase and dump it on the floor.
Ah!
Dump it.
Don't dump the suitcase.
Okay, now, Raz.
Yes,
Raz,
yes.
Okay, pick up the suitcase.
Okay.
Yes.
And just quickly move.
What is all these?
Okay.
Swing to the left.
The hell is this?
Okay, now, Raz.
Yes.
Raz, keep pushing to the left.
Frost, I need your direct. Oh, no.
Harder, Raz.
Stop it.
Harder, Raz.
Stop it. You stop it.
I don't know where the...
What's up? Where's
This isn't the ticket.
I feel like I had the ticket, by the way.
I feel like I'm being debated. Is this the ticket? No. Oh, Lord have mercy. You know what?
Where am I supposed to look?
I know that everyone's gonna. This is just. I made some bad life
and
choices.
It's a picture of Tom Holland.
Where is it, Frost?
Give me that. Give me
Have
that.
you given up?
Okay. Put your hand inside this body cavity.
Inside this body cavity.
Put it in.
Can I sniff it? I'm sniffing it.
Now go down. No, you gotta go down the other leg. You gotta go down the leg.
This one?
No.
This one.
No, that's an arm. Go down the other way.
Okay, this one.
Go away from my voice.
Go away, I'm going away.
No, that's an arm. Back it up.
Okay.
Now, straight down.
Straight down.
What's happening?
Straight forward.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay, did you find it? You went past it. It should be touching
You're fingering it?
I don't feel it at all.
It's right there.
That's it. This it?
Yes!
Oh.
Okay, now you gotta
Cereal.
put it all back in.
Grandma with cereal.
What the hell is all of this?
What kind of cereal?
Do I have anything else?
What kind of cereal are we talking about?
Am I good to close? Am I good to close?
Ticket.
I did?
I think this is a ticket.
Wow, I got the ticket!
Found a ticket, Raz.
Guys, I found the
This
ticket.
honestly is like the time I
Perfect,
packed
I'm
for
keeping it.
Peru.
Raz,
Yes.
just start putting stuff in.
It was a real...
I'm gonna hand it to you.
Okay. Right in my hands.
You guys don't understand how much I need this right now.
Here you go, Raz.
Okay. Oh, it's in.
I need this! No! You can't win!
No!
You can't win!
No!
I'll use my thickness!
Oh,
you make me! I'll use my thickness
I'm
against your
getting
thickness! Oh, God.
I'm starting to feel the thighs.
Yeah, you feel the thunder thighs.
Oh,
That's what it is.
no.
Nickname in high school. They call me Jimmy Thunder Thighs.
Give me thunder thighs.
Did I do it?
There was no ticket in ours.
Is this, what is this?
We were bamboozled?
We didn't have a ticket in our suitcase.
Okay, who's the ref? Let me talk to the ref 1 second. 1 second.
Was this ours?
No, that wasn't a ticket.
Oh, everything's
No,
in my...
that's theirs.
No,
Everything's in my hair, dude.
Tom Holland on it. That
I feel like
wasn't a
I feel like Nick. I feel like our cameraman.
Well, I'm keeping it. So.
Everything is a disaster. Also, this says
My producer is lying to me.
Muppets.
You can add that to the trauma dumping.
What is this?
You know what?
What are you
You know what,
doing?
Russ?
Why would I ever find it there?
Wait,
Can I take the
is
blindfold
that
off?
the ticket?
Wait, that was
But why
that
does it...
was yours. You got two.
This is confusing
Wait,
and deceptive.
Stop. You had two because I took yours out of your mouth.
No.
they stole yours.
We stole yours because you took your dummy and you threw it away.
All right, well, now we're going to go to a break, but when we come back, it's time to GTFO. Don't go anywhere or leave. Honestly, I wouldn't blame you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of G4's Crash Course.
He's the first cleanly has. Nexus round for G2. They can't let it slip. Oh no. They're letting it slip. Okay.
Cheated.
I didn't cheat at all.
Unbelievable.
Welcome back, everyone, to...
Well, at least the brother won. You know,
That's
and
right.
Black History Month too.
God damn it, Raz. It's time for the game that has the bad word in it, but because, you know, it's an acronym, we actually get to say it out loud. So everyone say it with me at the same time. 3, 2, 1. GTFO!
Guys, Can we change out my photo in that one?
We don't have the budget.
No, it's not on the budget. We don't have a photo, like, room anymore. The cameras are all gone. This is the last one we have.
My producer just said, is there a better photo of you? Trey, meet me on the couch.
True.
Oh, yeah, with a pillow.
We're gonna fight. No, it's a fight.
Usually,
if
you talk about a producer and a couch,
just God, stop it.
Segway. The rules are simple, kind of, I think. Honestly, at this point, who cares? We answer some questions about corn, and you guys at home get to vote in the chat for who the winner is. So, question number 1. Favorite method of consuming corn?
Popcorn.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, apparently that's the only question.
I also prefer by my mouth.
Yes.
Where else would you eat corn?
But I will take other alternatives.
Elote. I like elote. Yeah. It's one of my favorites.
There's
elote, when you have it's very common like Mexico. They'll do like cream on the corn with cheese and
is this like a full corn on the cob?
Full corn on the cob.
Okay.
But you can also get it in a cup as well.
Here's an idea, because I know me and Golden Boy had the same kind of history. Cornbread.
Why are you doing this to me?
What? You like cornbread, don't you?
I am Puerto Rican.
I don't know about that. I've heard differently.
Oh, God, there's a fake hair in my eye. Avali, what about for you?
No, I want to hear Raz keep
going. Okay. So we got elote. We have cornbread.
Yes. I will say, I like it on the cob. Yeah. I like corn on the cob. You just boil it, or sometimes you can even roast it. Just throw some butter and some salt on it.
I like kettle corn.
You already said popcorn. That's enough.
Isn't that the same thing?
Let me talk about
kettle corn is sweet. Popcorn can be salty or buttery. Kettle corn is specifically sweet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay. Well, it's. I just looked at myself.
What is this motion? Stop this.
Yeah.
You're eating corn.
You're really committed to eating corn.
I don't know if that's what it looks like.
Golden Boy's gonna win GTFO.
Oh, it looked like Golden Boy doing his blocking.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah, can you show us the blocking, Golden Boy?
Oh, yeah, I can actually show you. I learned this from our sensei last week.
Yeah,
it's great.
Sensei Smoke.
So there's ways that you can actually do the blocking. So, you can go like that for a double block, and then there's like the double block here, and then sometimes you get attacked by multiple foes at once, right? So you just got to double block in multiple directions, right? Like this. You just got to keep going.
Yes, I think that's the way to do it. This
right?
way. Yes,
I think that's the way to do it.
Good call.
Oh, Golden Boy wins!
That's the first time I ever won a poll. Well, folks,
of the Chun-Li outfit.
Thank you so much for watching whatever the hell this program is today. We thank you so much for tuning in. We'll, of course, see you next week unless you decided to gouge your eyeballs out, because I wouldn't blame you.
You're so stretchy.
Oh, what's this? Would y'all miss work so much you started without me?
Kevin?
Yeah. Oh. Hello, everyone. Hi.
No. You can't be Kevin.
I'm pretty sure I am.
No. You can't be Kevin Pereira, because that's Kevin Pereira.
I'm Kevin Pereira.
Okay, yes. Haha, great bit, everyone. But really, we got to move it on. Thank you. That was very funny, guys.
It's like watching Kevin
yeah.
in a mirror.
Come on, he looks nothing like me. Cassim, come on, you know that I'm me. Tell everyone.
But you were gone for a whole week. We thought you were dead.
I said I was taking a vacation. I missed one show. This is ridiculous.
But thank God you came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on our doorstep, exactly how we remembered you.
I'm Kevin Pereira.
Yes, you are.
No, he's not.
Their inflections exactly the same. That's crazy.
No, they're not even close to the same. He is barely trying.
Well, yeah, it's Kevin Pereira. He never tries.
That's fair. I walked into that one.
All right, there's only one solution. We got to kill one of them.
Let's do the thing they do in cartoons where you ask me a question and only the real Kevin Pereira would know, and then we know who's fake.
What are NFTs?
What does Chasm taste like?
No, I got this. Who is your favorite host?
Well,
let him down easy.
Who's your favorite co-host?
Yeah, Kevin's. Who's your favorite co-host?
Go ahead, reel me.
I'm Kevin Pereira.
Yes, I'm Kevin. That's really good. Yeah. It's actually a really good answer, and that gives me an idea.
I'm Kevin Pereira.
And I'm Kevin Pereira. And welcome to Attack of the Show!
I knew we should have killed one.
Hey y'all, Scott here. Online personality test. I have no idea who I am, so just let Google tell me. You have to shout to make a point properly. Yeah. Did you eat anything today? Tylenol. Do you just want to plug and play games? Do I have a face? I won!
So you have a video game console, right?
Welcome to the club.
And you have to plug it into the wall, then plug it into the TV, then plug in a controller, then play it. This isn't plug and play technology. Have you been keeping track of the plugs at play here? I just want to plug something in once, and I'm done, and it has a nose.
I wasn't expecting an answer this soon.
Plug and play games were the sole reason some bin in my living room's corner had purpose. If you didn't own at least one of these from 02 to 09, did you even exist? These things were the thing back in the 2000s. They came in these big fat boxes and proudly proclaimed, plug it in and play. See, no power adapter or extra controllers were necessary. All you had to do was pop in a couple of batteries and plug this directly into your TV with the yellow and white cables. Or I don't know, they could be forks, I'm colorblind, these things could be anything. Composite cables, one for video and one for sound, and if you're good enough, another one for sound. Once you were done with the setup, you'd flick the switch on the controller and boom. Look at this, no power adapter necessary. It plugs directly into the TV. This is magical. Plug and plays were always charming little distractions, and they were easy gift ideas for kids. They were only like 20 bucks a pop, and you didn't have to think about what game console your kid had. All you had to know was, oh, my son likes circles, this'll do. But many times these plug and play games feel like an excuse to sell subpar games inside of a colorful container. Like, I don't want to play this, I want to eat it. The core plug and play brand I remember was by Jack's Pacific, but they weren't the first of their kind. The TV Boy from the 90s was the first plug and play many will point towards. It repurposed Atari 2600 games and included over 100 of them in an oval. Technology was evolving and fast. This was more of a bootleg console though. Pretty much all of the games included weren't properly licensed and had their names changed. But what the TV Boy did was not only obtain a cease and desist, but also set the standard for plug and play games in the future. Power them with batteries and utilize older technology. And one of the first ones to do this, legally, was the Activision 10-in-1 byte Toy Max in the year 2000. While not 100% confirmed, many do believe this was the first of the modern plug and plays. You have the cables, the logo, the legality, it has it all. This device features 10 Activision classics from the Atari 2600, so you know what that means, it looks like this. Yes, this is the controller you'd associate with the games included on this plug and play, and then this is the plug and play you wouldn't be able to identify in the street. So the on and off switch and reset buttons are on the shoulders, cool, and we have two D-pads, cool, with one acting as the buttons, cool, and the game selection. Cool, this one isn't too great. The design's not ideal, and surprisingly the games aren't much better. But you gotta give this plug and play credit where credit's due. It started a revolution. Jack's Pacific started up their line of plug and play consoles shortly afterwards and truly popularized this kind of stuff, and soon everybody was making them. These were the ones I owned back in the day. See, I may have had a GameCube and Game Boy Advance, but that didn't mean I wasn't interested in playing worse games. The Atari plug and play is modeled directly after the original Atari 2600 joystick, and quite well at that. Everything feels exactly how it should here, and that means it doesn't feel great, but they did a fantastic job recreating the experience of the Atari 2600, and it was my first and best experience with the console's catalog. Technically speaking, these are recreations of the games, not 100% the same as the original 2600 versions, though they were made to be as close as possible. I played a lot of Breakout and Pong and Centipede and tried to understand the context of Yar's Revenge as a kid. These games, while nothing crazy, were fun enough to warrant untangling this thing from time to time. This device may have been one of the first stepping stones to me liking games nobody gives a shit about anymore. Of course, I brought up previously how it was strange I had so many of these things when I had perfectly working game consoles at hand, but the Atari plug and play offered something those consoles didn't. The unique controller. You could have just bought an Atari compilation on the Xbox, but are you really playing Atari with this thing? So that's one thing the plug and plays had over traditional game systems. The controllers could be whatever they felt like. Oh, we'll get to this one. The Pac-Man plug and play by Jack's Pacific. Everybody had this one. Me, Scott, everybody. 5 Namco classics at play here. Pac-Man, Galaxian, Rally X, Dig Dug, and Bosconian. And back in the day, I called this list Pac-Man, Galaxian, Rally X, Dig Dug, and what? This is an alright collection. These games aren't one-to-one with their arcade originals, but they're better than playing the old NES versions, and also better than a bunch of the compilation discs on consoles, because here, we have a joystick. Of course, using this now doesn't feel as good as I remember. It feels a little clunky, the stick doesn't feel substantial enough, the unit isn't big enough to really fully use the stick like I would on a real arcade machine, but it was a decent joystick at the time, and all of these games are factually more fun with a joystick. Of course, they followed this up with a Ms. Pac-Man plug and play featuring different and better games. Ms. Pac-Man, Galaga, Xevious, Mappy, and Pole Position. I got so much mileage out of both of these plug and plays, and this was where my love for the Namco arcade games began. What's interesting about the Ms. Pac-Man unit is Pole Position is controlled by twisting the head of the joystick. I didn't know that as a kid, and when I tried playing the game, the car would never move. Now, how did I never know that, considering there are multiple signs showing that this is how you control pole position?
Oh, hey, it's my friend. I don't know how I didn't realize I had to twist the joystick in pole position. I was just a kid. Leave me alone. I hate my parents.
These two were my most played plug and plays, but of course, it's impossible to ignore for much longer. My fourth plug and play was the Etch-a-Sketch plug and play. It never worked. It came with a cartridge. Why? Like, the cart came in the box with the plug and play, and it was the only cart released for the plug and play, so why make a cartridge slot on the plug and play if there's only one cartridge for it and you could just build the elements of the cartridge on the inside of the plug and play? What the f***? Etch-a-Sketch? I don't have this one anymore, so I'll throw the concept of it to the side and make way for my true final plug and play I owned as a kid. Corroded batteries. I wish I would have known about that before making that pact. The SpongeBob SquarePants plug and play. It, of course, isn't a collection of old games, but it kind of is. It features 5 games made specifically for this unit, and each of them is incredibly similar to another retro classic. I wouldn't consider these to be full-on rip-offs, rather friendly plagiarism. This game's similar to Breakout, this one's Life Force, this one's Missile Command, this one's Zelda, and this one's Donkey Kong. But strangely, these are all pretty fun time wasters. The controls feel really solid, and I honestly think Bubble Pop in this game is better than Breakout on the Atari plug and play. And the stick itself is great. I mean, come on, somebody thought of this. There's a fact for you. But while playing, the stick broke and doesn't register the direction of down. This broke right before playing the Donkey Kong ripoff. It's all the way down there. I can't access it anymore, and all I can possibly do with this plug and play now is play Bubble Pop. I'm okay with this. So these were the main ones I owned. Wait, actually, I did have an Intellivision one because all 9-year-olds love Intellivision. That was alright, though I remember the controller feeling really cheap and generic. I mean, this is what an Intellivision controller is, so let's play Spot the Difference. It seems like various plug and plays reused old assets, whether it was games, game design, graphics, sound effects, menus, or even the controller shell itself. Where's the evidence? Well, look no further than RCA TV joypad console. So this uses the same controller design as my old Intellivision one, and just makes me ask, why is there a joystick and a D-pad, and how is this a D-pad? It's more hubcap than D-pad. I would ask why this is necessary for Intellivision games, but who knows, maybe this controller design was tailor-made for RCA TV joypad console. You know, I always associate RCA with TV remotes, so they're one of my top 7,000 candidates for making a good game console.
Top 8,000.
So I think we covered pretty much the 3 types of plug and plays. The official old school throwbacks, the licensed kids games that usually ripped off other games gracefully, and then RCA TV joypad console. This is a collection of cheap, low quality games that have been spread around to various other generic consoles like this. But hey, I mean, if you want to play Roadstar, don't. There's also Go Bang Animal Pool. That's not a sentence, it was a list. Well, that was my collection of plug and plays as a kid. Kind of. Now, these were frequently played by me, which is weird to think about. I mean, pretty much all of these had outdated and subpar graphics, and I always had better quality stuff playable on my actual game consoles. But most of the games included on these things were addictive, high-score-based titles. Games you could just pop in, play for a bit, and pop out. These were solid games to have on these things, because when you wanted to play them, you just plug it and play. You didn't have to worry about making room on the power outlet or anything. Of course, being battery powered meant more times than not when I'd want to play one of these things, I'd pull it out of storage and go, oh shit, I left this thing on for a month. It kept things simple though. Now, why do all of them require a screwdriver to access the batteries? I don't know, this is a bit of a pain. But hey, there were tons more plug and play, specifically by Jack Specific. There was Spider-Man, Pinball, Poker, Mortal Kombat, Fantastic Four, Scooby-Doo, Batman, Star Wars, Capcom, Superman, 1 vs. 100, WWE, DreamWorks, I'm forgetting thousands more. But here are just a few more I've picked up recently. Atari's back, and this time with a knob! The Atari Paddle Plug and Play, similar to the joystick, but this time we're replicating the original paddle controller, which allows for smooth as butter movement in games like Pong and Breakout. Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. See, Wheel of Fortune has an actual wheel. What did you do today? This is a good one, even if it didn't accept my answer for what a slogan might be. The elephant attacks that. It was curiously strong mint. The wheel feels great, and Wheel of Fortune makes a ton of sense as a plug and play. Now Jeopardy, if you play with 3 people, you can buzz in as others. It's great. The Disney Plug and Play features a couple of games based on various Disney characters. This is most similar to the SpongeBob one. Each game is of a different style. The first one, you have to change the direction of the bridges to make a clear-cut path. So I constantly failed at the first level, but afterwards I swept the floor with Timon to the rescue. We have a Lilo and Stitch platformer, Duck Golf. No, that can't work. Aladdin's another platformer that feels a bit similar to Aladdin on the Super Nintendo. It might just be because you can throw apples in this one too, but it ends with a very basic puzzle game based on The Lion King. You know, that's 2 Lion King based games in one whole thing. I don't like how the Disney logo is slanted because I keep thinking that's the top of the device and accidentally point the joystick in the wrong direction. But hey, these plug and plays always have such fun designs. At least the joystick looks like a circle. Well, to quote me at the end of this sentence, there's always an EA Sports one. Yeah, the EA Sports plug-and-play, shaped like a Sega Genesis controller. It comes with Madden 95, NHL 95, and fingers crossed Timon to the rescue. Damn it. See, I enjoyed the fact this exists, but my god. 2 sports games from the 90s that stores would pay you to take from them, included in a Sega Genesis controller you plug directly into your TV. I like when these plug-and-plays offer a unique-ish games or games with controllers you couldn't get on regular game consoles. This one's a bit too worthless for my liking, but it's kind of neat. But hey, at least it's fairly G-rated. Sure, you can combine the letters from the title screen to spell ass rat, but I'm sure the kids wouldn't notice. So what about a plug and play for the adults? Well, here's World Poker Tour, rated M. Actually, the M rating is a sticker, and peeling it off reveals the original rating was E. Well, it's a good thing they reconsidered. Can you imagine kids playing this? I can't. I don't want to imagine the world burning the down. There's an LCD screen on this unit, and it comes with a bonus DVD. Well, don't mind if I do. The game itself, oh man, it reminds me of something. I can't remember. Poker! The final Jack-specific plug-and-play I have is a Nicktoons one, focused on various Nickelodeon cartoons. It just came in the mail, so let's cut it open and take a... Alright, they can't all be winners. For some reason, Jack shipped this unit with the wires pre-cut. That's unfortunate. It's lame because I actually had an accessory for this specific unit too. A game key. That should show you how popular these devices were. They actually got accessories like this released for them. Game keys were made for specific plug-and-plays that had cartridge slots. You could buy these and expand the game selection on these things. It's really weird because I thought the entire point of these things was that they were way simpler than game consoles. You didn't have to worry about what game system your kid had. You could just buy them a plug-and-play and know for a fact they will be able to play it. But then you start releasing game cartridges that work with specific plug-and-plays, and all this one says is that it works with Nickelodeon controllers. I wouldn't be surprised if some moms bought their kids a game key because they had a Nickelodeon plug-and-play that didn't have a game key slot. Here's a power adapter for Jack-specific plug-and-plays. My god, with the game key and this is starting to become a lot more than just plug-and-play. Jack-specific really rolled with the plug-and-play success for a while, which meant they made some really dumb stuff, but they weren't the only company to not give a Various others made their own plug-and-plays. For example, Toymax. They were bought by Jack Pacific. RCA. They stunk. But here we have a Tetris plug-and-play by Radica. It's your basic Tetris. You have a few different modes, the traditional Tetris theme, solid visuals, 2 players right out of the box. You can just attach the second controller included. This is hell. This controller is abysmal. All they had to do was put a D-pad and a button, but no, they had to make it unique. So you move this block as a joystick to move your piece and twist it to rotate. Not only is this control scheme really lousy for Tetris, the control stick itself is wildly stiff. I don't know why they felt the need to make it like this when they could have easily saved money by using a traditional controller. Hell, even the RCA controller would have been better. How about Crayola Electronic Coloring Book? I don't know why I'm disappointed. TV Wild Adventure Mini Golf. There better not be any ducks or I'm gonna lose it. So this is interesting. It's a motion control golf game. You adjust your shot like this and wave the golf club over the sensor. Problem is, waving anything will register it as a hit, so as long as you keep the sensor covered, your character will constantly putt. Here's another gimmicky one, American Idol Dance Showdown. American Idol, you know, the competition show about singing. Here's a dancing game. It's a blatant clone of Dance Dance Revolution. You get a mat, you lay it out, and step on the right arrows at the right time. See, it's fine, but I personally feel that plug and plays work best when they supplement what you can do on a home console with unique controllers instead of just offering a version of DDR that a dollar store can sell. So that should give you a pretty good idea as to what the plug-and-plays were back in the mid-2000s, but that doesn't mean they aren't still readily available today, though I have no idea who's still buying them.
Attack is back, and the critics are raving. Good enough. I've seen worse. Reverse hair loss now with one simple trick. Click here. Catch the show the critics literally won't start talking about. Attack of the Show on G4 Select.
modern plug and play, so most of the ones I see look like this. Big box, white joystick, white buttons, cheap fonts. This company MSI is responsible for a lot of these, and their website features Mario fan art. They have never worked with Nintendo. So these are blatantly incredibly cheap. Many of them reuse the same joysticks that already don't feel great to begin with. But for some reason they decided to swap the placements of the joystick and buttons for a few of them. Most of these are just one NES game inside a joystick, and they all stink. They work, but they aren't a great way to play these games, as so much about this doesn't make any sense. So you wanted to make a plug and play for people who were nostalgic over Mega Man 2 on the NES? So you put it in a controller absolutely nobody played this game with? Like seriously, why a joystick? Why not something that at least resembles an NES controller? Plus, like I said, a lot of these only contain one game, and this Space Invaders one, like seriously, is just Space Invaders. There have been so many other Space Invaders plug and plays before this with multiple games. This one, just Space Invaders. And it's not even that accurate to the arcade version. It's the Famicom version. Who played the Famicom version? Double Dragon. I mean, I will give this the benefit of the doubt. The batteries might be in here a bit wobbly. See, that's a problem with a lot of these units. Graphical problems if the batteries aren't fully in or are starting to go. But God, this looks bad. And it's just Double Dragon 1 on the NES. If you have the joystick, why not have the arcade version instead or include it alongside this? WrestleMania, yeah, just the NES game in the same joystick. Why don't I hear anybody talk about how garbage this company is? But I found this Pac-Man one at Walmart recently. It's actually pretty good. The design may not be the most comfortable, and sure, having the wires contained at the bottom with a lid may sound like a good idea, but just ends up making it more complicated to put away because now I have to cram all the wires back in and not lose the lid. But the stick and buttons feel pretty alright, and the game selection is pretty solid. It even includes the final level of Pac-Man where it's a full-on unbeatable glitch. It's sort of completely useless, but it's neat to be able to play it, as I'm sure most of us haven't gotten 256 levels into Pac-Man. I'm not a fan of having to do a combination of button presses to go back to the menu. I would have just preferred a menu button or something. But this is a solid newer plug and play. Of course, there are these Games products, the Blast units. They're wireless controllers connecting to HDMI dongles. A lot of people give Games what for since their quality isn't the greatest, but man, this is so much better than MSI. Who the hell wakes up and says, I'm okay with these existing? Plug and plays were a product of the mid-2000s, and while they're still around, I don't necessarily ever seeing them become nearly as big. They somewhat had a resurgence after Nintendo kickstarted the mini classic console craze. Some people call these little systems plug and play. I retaliate with, look at all these plugs. See, on the surface, these things may seem nothing more than cheap toys with extremely basic games for children. That sentence was finished long ago. I do have a lot of great memories with these things though, and none of them were groundbreaking or anything, but they were fun, quick pick-me-ups. Even if the games were incredibly basic, many were actually designed quite well, and basing the gameplay off of old school arcade games, or just offering old school arcade games to play, I think that gave a lot of young kids a greater appreciation of classic games. Of course, none of these I desperately want to go back to, and bring them back today doesn't work. I mean, these worked so well back in the mid-2000s because most TVs had composite inputs on the front. Now with HD TVs, if they even have composite inputs, they're on the back. And even then, plug and plays, most of the time, way more. Hey all, Scott here. Why didn't you tell me about pencils? This is great. Consider me a newborn fan. I'm sold. I don't even have to think about the next pencil I buy because I already pre-bought all of them. I should have waited for reviews. New product? Oh, don't mind if I do. If it comes from a company, I love it. You don't need to wait for first impressions or reviews. You can just order something the moment it's announced. It's one of our 2 rights. Now, does that mean you'll get it the day it releases? You'd think so. Pre-orders, the act of pre-ordering. You'd mostly do this to ensure you get this product the moment it comes out, or at the very least, a copy is reserved for you. Pre-ordering something doesn't always mean you'll get it on launch day. Sometimes shipment delays happen. Rather, it ensures you will in fact get it at some point in your life. Pre-ordering is more for the consumer that just can't wait to buy a product, but they can wait to use it. And in the video game industry, pre-orders are a way of life. This is something that's so frequently done with games. Every single one is up for pre-order, and so many people feel the need to hit that button. Other entertainment fields don't feel nearly as inclined to do this. I mean, you can pre-order a digital movie, but are you really human if you do that? With games, pre-orders are constantly pushed, more so than anything else. Oh, if you're interested in this game, you should pre-order it. If you do, you'll get to add something to a landfill. Listen, I rarely pre-order games. I personally feel like it overcomplicates things rather than simplifies them. Most video games are mass-produced. You're not gonna have a hard time finding New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe on launch day, so if you pre-ordered it, get over there. If that game wasn't available at Best Buy at launch, launch, the simulation's crumbling. Plus, with pretty much every major game being released day of digitally, sometimes even before the physical release, there's no worries about stock problems. If you really wanted to play a game at launch and there are no more copies available, you have options. I've just had more problems with pre-orders than I haven't. It all started with my first pre-order ever, Wii Sports Resort, because I couldn't wait to play Wii Sports Bowling on a new disc. So I was at a GameStop and decided I have $20 and can put this towards my own copy of Wii Sports Resort. That's coming out soon. They'll reserve one just for me, and I'll only have to spend $30 more when the game releases. After the launch date passed, the next time I went to a GameStop, I asked if I could pick up my copy of Wii Sports Resort. They said no, because it was at a different GameStop. Come on, I don't think it was too far-fetched to believe these stores could communicate with each other. One pre-order at one GameStop was good at another. So I could have just went to the other GameStop to pick up my pre-order. No, I wanted the game really bad, so I spent all my money on it at the GameStop I was at. And thus, I had to then figure out how to cancel my pre-order at the GameStop I pre-ordered at. Hey, don't blame me, I was young and dumb. It was 2018. You know, I should have just paid for the pre-order in full after buying the game at the other GameStop, so then I wouldn't have been embarrassed in the slightest. I wouldn't have had to walk away from the one without a game, and wouldn't have had to cancel my pre-order at the other. I know what you're saying. No man should own that many copies of Wii Sports Resort. So 2? Ever since that day, pre-orders have left a bad taste in my mouth. It's like buying something with extra steps. Like I went to Best Buy to buy a laptop. They didn't have the specific one I wanted, but said a nearby store had it in stock. So they said I could purchase the laptop at this Best Buy, then show up to the other Best Buy, tell them what I did, show them my information, and pick it up. No, that's just asking for trouble. Like I could do that. Or I could just show up to the other Best Buy and tell them I want that specific laptop and pay for it all right there. They would need to scour their records, find out, oh god, did he buy this at a different store? I don't want to keep my receipts, payment records, and birth certificate around just to pick up Go Vacation on launch day when I can walk into the store and find 50 copies on the shelf. Plus, who wants to tell a cashier, hi, I pre-ordered Go Vacation? Oh, you really care, don't you? Okay, but what about online pre-orders? Pre-order the game on Amazon, you'll get it delivered to you day of. Sure, let's go with that. Don't you want the game the minute it's available? That's why you pre-ordered it? Well, pre-ordering online, you'll get it the day it releases, but UPS usually gets to your house around 4 p.m. if they're quick about it. And then sometimes your order gets delayed a day or 2 or 5, and your order isn't even a game that's a limited edition or anything. How did my copy of Animal Crossing come late? You can build a country out of copies available. But it's all about the worry in your heart. What if you show up to the store and there's no more copies left? You know what the last game I experienced that with? Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz HD. Hey, do you have any copies left? If you didn't pre-order, sorry, no. Really? To be fair, I mean, I don't really like walking in a store to pre-order something. It just feels weird to go all the way there for something you can't tangibly leave with. What did I accomplish today? I only pre-order things when it's almost absolutely necessary, when there's actual reason to believe it won't be in stock at launch if you don't pre-order. I've probably pre-ordered more digital titles because you know what happens at midnight when you pre-order games? You can play them. I'd rather wait till 4. Limited editions, brand new game consoles, these make sense to pre-order. At launch, they're first come, first serve. So why did I pre-order Assassin's Creed 4? I needed a new football. The pre-order bonus. What better way to get you to spend $60 early than to promise something worth $5? Oh man, if I spend my money now, I'll get bull and dog. Yeah, companies like their pre-orders because they give a good idea as to how many people are actually interested in the game. Plus, if they follow through with the order, that's paying full price for a game at launch opposed to waiting for a price drop later down the line. But how do you get people to actually pre-order?
I got some socks in the car.
Let me go through everything I remember pre-ordering and what I got for doing so. Firstly, of course, there was Wii Sports Resort. What did I get for pre-ordering that? Dignity. Next up, what, like some Amazon purchases? Nothing with these. I tried to pre-order Smash Brothers for Wii U at GameStop, the big collector's box with the GameCube controller and adapter, and they said we don't have that version, but we do have pre-orders for the regular game and a third-party GameCube looking controller that only those without hands would use. Yeah, I passed and pre-ordered on Amazon. Guess when I got it? After the shipping delay, right now. I did finally fulfill 2014 Scott's wishes and found a new copy of the Smash Wii U collector's box. Finally. I really wanted to stick it to that GameStop that said, ooh, sorry, no more pre-orders for that. Though, if you want, we have plenty of Little Big Planet 3 pre-orders left. Okay.
Welcome to Name Your Price! I'm going to show you an item that I bought online, and whoever guesses closest wins points. It's XQC, everybody! Oh! Wipe them gently. Oh, look at that.
I know exactly how much it costs. $12.99.
Let's get our next product in here.
There we go.
What did you just do to the toe, man?
That just helped me a lot.
Oh, my God!
This is on TV?
Oh, yes, it's going live to G4 TV.
how about this? Splatoon for Wii U launched in May of 2015. I pre-ordered at GameStop because you got a DLC code for Inkling costumes for the Mii Fighters and Smash Brothers for Wii U when picking the game up. That was such a fun incentive, I had to do it! Did I use the costumes? What do I look like, somebody who does that? Come on, these costumes were valued at 75 cents. I couldn't pass this deal up. Now, if you pre-ordered Splatoon at Target, you got a water gun. Good thing you didn't have to specifically pre-order to buy them. They were selling them separately at the store as well. Thank God I was out of cups. Honestly, this thing was pretty cheap, but for $5 extra at Target or just straight up given away for free with Splatoon, that's kind of cool. It does look like the splatter shot from the game with some very cheap stickers that are bound to wear off since there's going to be water all over this thing. But this wasn't the only pre-order bonus Target did with Wii U games in 2015. No, we got the Super Mario Maker Puzzle Cube, also available separately for roughly $5. Jesus, how did they up a Rubik's Cube? This is using like the cheapest plastic imaginable. Each turn feels like I'm grinding against the rest of the plastic. I can commend them for doing something cute like this, but I'm sure the people in charge said, we have just enough funds to kinda do a Rubik's Cube. If you can only kinda do a Rubik's Cube, you probably just shouldn't do a Rubik's Cube. Now, I personally pre-ordered my copy of Mario Maker over at GameStop because they were giving out this poster celebrating the 30th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. I don't know, I don't really put up posters outside of a few key examples, but this one just looked neat, so I thought, I'll pre-order to get that. How about with Twilight Princess HD? At GameStop, I got the soundtrack on CD. Or some of it, sound selection, so not everything. It's also in this dinky-ass cardboard case, so not the full soundtrack, and the case isn't anything to write home about. But to be fair, this is the best pre-order bonus I've gotten so far, and in terms of excitement, I'm brimming. Of course, I pre-ordered the Nintendo Switch when that launched, but I had to wait about a month and a half later to get some plastic bullshit with a pre-order because at Target, they did the damn Rubik's Cube again. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Rubik's Cube. They also did some air fresheners. To be honest, I don't think these Target trinkets count as pre-order bonuses, more like purchase bonuses, since you could just buy them at Target for super cheap around the game's launch. But hey, they stink, so that ought to count for something. Ever since, I've been fairly selective with my pre-orders. I got Mario Odyssey at Best Buy, where I got this poster and a collectible coin, the Smash Ultimate Controller Bundle, which also came with a collectible coin. Man, I mean, these are quality little trinkets, but at least with the Rubik's Cubes, I got a good few years out of looking at those complaining. These, there's just not much to them. They're nice little coins. So cool, but like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with these. I haven't personally truly experienced a crazy good pre-order bonus. I think the one everybody points to that was undoubtedly the best of all time was the Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker's pre-order bonus. You got Ocarina of Time plus the all-new Master Quest version of the game as a GameCube disc. So you pretty much got an extra game for free by pre-ordering this game. Pretty sweet deal. Pre-order copies of Mario Kart Double Dash contain the fabled bonus disc featuring game demos. They were seriously putting work into their pre-order bonuses back then. So, how did pre-order bonuses look a decade later? A free football for pre-ordering Assassin's Creed 4 at Best Buy. Oh, I was gonna buy a football at Best Buy anyways. I needed a new Assassin's Creed 4. This is perfect timing. A flashlight for pre-ordering Shadow of the Tomb Raider at GameStop. Yes, the inside of the game case is so dark I can't find the game without it. A banana-shaped Wii Remote holder for pre-ordering Donkey Kong Country Returns at GameStop. This Wii Remote is really pissing me off. It's not in something else. Good thing I pre-ordered. 25 extra lives for pre-ordering Sonic Lost World from Amazon. Yeah, that's what got me to pre-order. More lives. Free condoms with infamous Second Son at GameStop Italy. They'll work or your money back. You got exclusive special moves to perform in Remember Me based on Street Fighter by pre-ordering from Amazon, Best Buy, or Steam. Why lock stuff like that behind pre-orders? Why lock cool gameplay incentives? Well, it's easier than supplying quality merchandise. Gears of War 2's pre-order bonus was an RC car tank. For free. You know, Target couldn't even get a Rubik's Cube right. Yeah, think if they tried to give you an RC car instead. That's why we got Thumb War merch for Super Street Fighter 4. Lots of these bonuses feel like they're trying to offload excess stuff they have in a warehouse off to consumers. You ever try to leave a GameStop without a pre-order bonus? I have yet to hear somebody who has. I blacked out and woke up owning a keychain. Deus Ex Mankind Divided decided to revolutionize the pre-order experience by offering tiers of pre-orders. You could pick this tier, but you'd have to choose which pre-order bonus you'd want, or you could pick this higher one, but you'd have to choose which bonus you'd want, or you could pay a huge premium to play the game early. But the only way higher tiers would be unlocked was if they got enough pre-order sales. So you had to bug people to pre-order a game, so you had the potential to pay more for your pre-order to potentially get one pre-order bonus or another, but not both. I'll just take the football. This plan was canceled after negative feedback. I mean, it's just straight up confusing. I mean, sure, I think getting dinky little keychains is sort of lame as a pre-order bonus, but it's harmless. It just doesn't do much to incentivize me to actually pre-order. Rather, they are what the name implies, a bonus, not really an incentive. And sometimes these bonuses can be legitimately cool. Art pieces, CDs, posters, of course, they rarely can get amazing, like with the Master Quest, but I doubt we'll ever see a pre-order bonus that great ever again. But if anything, some of these modern pre-order bonuses really hit home what I was trying to convey a bit ago. Don't pre-order Like, why? The only reason to actually pre-order something is if you get a benefit from it. Like, if it'll be scarce and you want to make sure you get it. But pre-ordering Watch Dogs? Why? If it's for a pre-order bonus, I guarantee you that pre-order bonus will be available on eBay in moments for pennies. If everybody gets it for free with a pre-order, then there's absolutely no reason to spend full price on the game that you wouldn't normally spend full price on just to get the pre-order bonus that's worth mere dollars. And then there's the fact that with most games, you don't need to pre-order. They'll be readily available at launch. Pre-ordering the game just adds so many unnecessary steps. You have to show up to GameStop, pre-buy the game, then go away, then come back on launch day, tell them, hey, I pre-ordered the game, show all your info, then pick up the game, compared to just showing up to GameStop on launch day and buying the game. But I have time to kill, so I'm going to pre-order a pre-order of a game. That's where I get to stand in line to find out where I'll stand in line when it comes to pre-ordering the game, because I'll get this pre-order bonus of this exclusive poster. Hey y'all, Scott here. I'm on life support now. No reason, just felt like it. I've been told the machine I'm hooked up to is doing some pretty great stuff. It's efficient, it's useful, it's made by Mad Cats. I should probably start proofreading my will. Did you know hands can hold garbage and garbage? Game controllers are fairly understated in the grand scheme of things. I mean, as long as you can reach all the buttons at once, that shouldn't be an issue, right? They are ridiculously important to the gaming experience, but that importance comes at a price. As the years have gone on, official game controllers have risen in cost significantly. We go from the GameCube controller retailing for $19.99 to my scheduled laugh at the Switch Pro controller's price point. The prices of game controllers can be absolutely ridiculous, sometimes costing nearly as much as a new game, sometimes costing as much as a new game, more than a new game. $70, man, I found a mattress for that much. I will admit, stuff like the Nintendo Switch Pro controller and DualShock 4 have a lot of random junk thrown into them, and at least kind of explains why the prices are so much higher than controllers in the past. But then the Xbox One controller is pretty much identical to the Xbox 360 controller in terms of features, and it's $65. Did all the money go into giving the thumbsticks tire tracks? Controllers can be expensive. Sure, you can probably make it by with just the one that came bundled with your console, but what if you want to play a local multiplayer game, or what if your controller breaks for some reason? You're gonna need an extra controller, and the official ones, those can be pricey, but you always have other options. We give these away with car stereos. Third-party controllers. Controllers not made by the company who makes the console. You never know what you're gonna get with these things. Since they're made by a company that had nothing to do with the actual console, they don't have to abide by any rules, designs, or legal restrictions, nothing.
Our story began in Waterdeep, the city of splendors, with a group of scoundrels.
You'll be completely safe with me.
I really do love you, but that was absolutely disgusting.
Now, why would you get a third-party controller instead of a first-party one? Well, I can think of a few reasons, but most of the time, it's all about the price point. These bad boys would sometimes retail for considerably less than official controllers. You could use that money for new games and your mortgage. However, let's not throw all third-party controllers under the bus here, because I consider them to fall under two types: big deals or big gimmicks. Either the controller is cheaper and that's why you'd want it, or it features something the official controllers don't. Like the QuickShot controller for the NES. This isn't supposed to be a replacement controller, it's supposed to be an alternative. If you want to use a joystick with your games, whip out the coffee table, jam the stick with the suction cups, this thing ain't going anywhere. This works well for arcade-style games, or stuff like Top Gun if you're one of those people. But in terms of a controller with no real advantages compared to the official controllers outside of price point, the Hanyu Explorer 1 for the NES, literally just another company's version of the NES Advantage. There isn't much reason for you to pick this up other than the fact that it's cheaper than the official Advantage controller. However, this thing has some interesting features. These top two buttons do absolutely nothing, and there's a useless battery compartment. I really have to start using this term better. In the grand scheme of third-party controllers, these ain't too bad. Third-party controllers were more so gimmicky back in the NES days, mainly because you needed like 2 standard NES controllers at the very most, so for people to want other controllers, they needed to stand out. They needed to have features the regular controllers didn't have. That called for pretty much any unofficial controller to have turbo buttons, like the Turbo Touch 360 for the Sega Genesis. This gives me chills. We have switches to give any of the buttons turbo fire, but the star of the show here is the lack of a D-pad. I'm sure tons of people who saw this in the store went, yes! You ever just use the Genesis controller and... there's too much D-pad here. Now this, I mean, no D-pad is exactly what I wanted out of a Sega Genesis controller. This is a touchpad and it senses where your thumb is. Where your thumb is. Yeah, this doesn't work very well. You don't get the precision of an actual D-pad at all. I don't know if this is whacking out because of old age, but I couldn't imagine this ever working that well when it was new. But hey, if you want a more standard experience, here's the Sega Genesis Owl Pad. I'm sure somebody stood by this controller like you're waiting in the living room for your date to come downstairs and you're talking to her dad about how much you like the Sega Genesis controller. We're an Owlpad family. The back is a soap dish. Now, if you're looking to buy retro gaming garb these days, you're likely to come across these off-brand controllers. They look pretty similar to the originals, but with a few things altered so Nintendo doesn't have a aneurysm. If there's just a blank space where the Nintendo logo should be, run. These things prey on people looking to buy old systems who need an extra controller. They're usually for sale at retro game shops and look almost identical to the original controllers, but are almost always inferior in every way. Like, come on, $15? That's around the same price for an official N64 controller, but people keep buying these because they look so similar and they're brand new. At least back in the day, third-party companies respected the consumer. To differentiate themselves from the first-party companies, they made sure to add their own stupid twist to their product. Introducing the Boomerang 64. The analog stick fell off of mine and all that's left is a stick, so I had to improvise. Now, this isn't nearly as bad as it may seem. It is a chunk fest in my hands, but it gives you an N64 controller with a slightly more conventional layout. It has built-in rumble if you slide some AAAs in, and there are 2 whole Z buttons for maximum. But the D-pad is stiff, the L and R buttons are in totally out there locations, and overall, it's just an awkward controller. Also, the name is a lie. The SuperPad 64, now this screams, oh I need a Nintendo 64 controller and only have $10. I'm gonna be saying that on my wedding night. It's a substitute, but that's all it really is. It doesn't excel at anything in comparison to the original. I mean, yeah, this isn't great, but I'm used to how not great it is. The SuperPad 64 just feels weird without those grips on the sides. It feels incomplete. Z feels like a gas station fuel button. The SuperPad 64 is the type of thing I think of first when I hear the term third-party controller. Cheaper in every sense of the word. But this was made by Performance. The company I immediately think of when I hear the term third-party controller is Mad Catz. If you walk into a building constructed by Mad Catz, get the out of there. Get all the kids out of the room. 3, 2, 1. Jesus Christ, censor that. The only Mad Catz product I own legitimately without thinking twice about it being made by Mad Catz was my GameCube memory card, and I'm still happy to have it on me. Look at all these memories, an entire page of Nickelodeon game save files. I love gaming. But look at this, 16X, whatever the hell that means, keep it coming. I had so much storage space on this card. Mad Catz was never the worst supplier of controllers, but they were definitely known for their mediocrity. But I mean, come on, has a company who made a Dallas Cowboys PS2 controller ever steer you wrong? A lot of their controllers aren't terrible, but they're on their way up there. The Mad Catz GameCube controller, talk about undercompensation. You take a regular GameCube controller and then just warp every element of the controller until it's a shrunken, grotesque GameCube pad. Oh, and bold up the fonts on the buttons. Just by looking at this thing, there's something undeniably cheap about it. Like many of these controllers, it works, but so does filing for bankruptcy, so whatever, different people like different things. Well, what about the Mad Catz arcade stick for the Xbox 360? With all the arcade titles available on the 360, you needed a good arcade stick to play them with. I still need a good arcade stick to play them with. This controller is all show, no go. You look at it and go, wow, this is everything a regular Xbox 360 controller is, but with controllers tailored for arcade games. A joystick with a fire button on top, a spinner for games like Arkanoid, this is gonna end in heartbreak. This is just a regular thumbstick on stilts. It has such a wide range of movement. Most arcade joysticks are locked in a set number of directions. Here you have full 360-degree movement, which let me tell you now, this does not work well for Miss Pac-Man. The entire controller itself is too tiny, like you want to be able to slam an arcade controller on a coffee table and not have to worry about it moving all over the place. No, this one's too small and light to set down and play with, but it's too big and cumbersome to hold in your hands. This has a lot of the same problems as the Atari 2600 joystick in terms of size. I can't say Mad Catz didn't try with this controller, but they didn't. But wanna know who did try with their controller? Nickelodeon. Put SpongeBob in your hands. SpongeBob controllers for the PlayStation 2 and GameCube. I remember advertisements for these, and yep, it is SpongeBob in your hands. It's a good Wednesday night controller. I'm not gonna use it all the time, but one day a week I'm good with. You get a lot of these novelty controllers made by third parties, like a Dallas Cowboys controller, damn it. Now you can't go talking novelty controllers without bringing up Afterglow. Yeah, I was 16 at some point, this interests me. An Afterglow Wii remote, transparent in all the right ways. Lock some batteries in, sync it up, and that is fairly disappointing. They move some button placements around, like the 1 and 2 buttons are at an angle, that's sort of annoying. Plus and minus are right next to the A button, honestly a pretty okay change, but then the home button was moved all the way to the top and you need a damn toothpick to hit it. Well, why sit here and whine when we can whine with even more style? A rock candy nunchuck, finally a controller that answers my lucid dreams. The nunchuck finally has an ass. It's transparent plastic as well, but because of that we get to see some of the iffy looking wire in here. That doesn't look too good. If this doesn't scream playing Goosebumps Horrorland, I don't know what does. Now what if you're playing Xbox 360 and your hands start to bleed? Well damn, you don't want to stop playing to dry the blood off, so introducing Airflow, the controller with a fan. You hit this button and the fan turns on.
Well, that checks out.
This is a very standard wired Xbox 360 controller, but with LEDs and a fan with 2 different speeds. Honestly, it's good at what it does. If you're really hankering for a controller with a fan, you can do a whole lot worse than Airflow. Speaking of good third-party controllers, the Logitech wireless PS2 controller. Oh my god, this thing is really comfortable. Dare I say, more comfortable and sturdier than the official controller. The traditional PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 controllers just aren't really my thing, but this bulks it up a bit and just melts in my hands. Also, I like the blue underneath the analog sticks, those are fun. Here we have a few controllers for the Nintendo Switch. First up is the 8BitDo SN30 Pro. I've always heard a lot about 8BitDo, damn whatever. They specialize in retro-esque Bluetooth controllers. This one obviously taking heavy inspiration from the SNES. And yeah, it's pretty good at what it sets out to do. I don't see this as a full-on Switch Pro controller replacement, but as a supplemental controller for 2D platformers or retro stuff, then oh yeah, it's good. It also works on PC, Android, and irrelevant, so there are a ton of uses for this thing. But what about a controller made specifically for the Nintendo Switch? Well, just your luck, here's the PowerA wireless controller. Themed after The Legend of Zelda, specifically with some Twilight Princess art. It's okay, I mean, it's perfectly fine. It has motion controls, you also get these buttons on the back you can map any of the other buttons to. However, you don't get HD Rumble or NFC here. For that, you need to chalk up an extra 20 bucks for the official Pro Controller. That's not worth it. The extra money may not be worth what the Pro Controller adds in terms of features, but I will say the extra 20 bucks is worth the more premium feeling of the Pro Controller. This is perfectly fine, it does the job, but at 50 bucks for a third-party controller, I'd just spring for a Pro Controller at that point. Here I have a bunch of PS3 controllers. All right, first up, this is the GameStop branded one. That feels all right. Let me test out the trigger. Oh my god. The Tier 1 wired PS3 controller, pretty much just like an Xbox One controller. The X got rubbed off here. That means somebody must have used this thing. Rock Candy strikes again, this time with this tiny PS3 controller. This feels like something I get out of a capsule machine. Let me rewind a bit to the PS2, the TTX Tech wireless controller. I see they had to make sure the button symbols were different enough to avoid copyright problems with Sony. What are you talking about? That's not a PlayStation X, that's a Norse symbol. It's feeling like one of those B-Bon cool kind of days, you know? Here's the B-Bon cool for the Nintendo Switch. This hurts. Everything just doesn't feel right. These triggers, the sticks, the D-pad. No. Okay, I've never bought into third-party controllers before because you are almost never going to get the same experience or quality than from the first-party offerings. Sure, some stand out, but 90% of the time you're asking for trouble buying these things. Oh wow, a Nyko controller. Might as well be saying, oh wow, I can't just buy a pre-owned first-party controller or save up just a little more for the official one? Sure, some of them have their place in the market, but time and time again I just ask myself, why do most of these exist? And on top of that, Mad Catz pulled a fast one on me. This isn't a life support machine. This was just a bread box!
First thing I'm gonna get you to do, sort the negative attitude out. You're a strong man, okay? You're strong. Turn the frown upside down.
Rowan, we're gonna die! We're gonna die, Rowan!
Good luck, adventurer!
Hey y'all, Scott here, and I've just been promoted at my job to the title of stay-at-home son. Suffice to say, I've had a lot of extra time on my hands, and I've been discovering the legends of lost video games. Someone please hire me. Games are a medium in which preservation can be tricky, thus some games can't be played in their original state. These are games that have basically been lost, not games that were cancelled, but games that existed and were playable, but are inaccessible nowadays. These are the games that time forgot. NBA Elite 11, a crowning achievement in the cancelled but not cancelled industry. EA initially developed Elite 11 as a reboot of the NBA Live series. After a lame demo was put out for the game showcasing various problems and glitches, EA realized the product just wasn't up to snuff and thus cancelled the release of the game. Or did they? Copies of the game were shipped to retailers, but EA requested them to be sent back. Most obliged, but some copies were sold to consumers. Due to never officially releasing, but technically officially releasing, NBA Elite 11 is incredibly hard to play. If you want to grab the game, well, the demo that initially released was completely ripped from online stores, making this one of the hardest EA Sports games to experience. Thank God you made the cut. Hey, remember Download Play on the Nintendo DS? It was a way for you to temporarily download content from another DS without an internet connection, mainly for things like playing a multiplayer game without your own copy of the game. It's pretty slick. But you could also get exclusive demos by using Download Play in specific areas, like retail stores. However, we have an exclusive game that was only available via DS Download Play. Visiting the Poke Park, a Pokemon theme park in Japan, you could download an exclusive DS game to your system, Poke Park Asari Takai DS. It's a Pokemon fishing game, that's it. The way DS Download Play works is that after your system is shut down or after 12 hours, the game is inaccessible, and the fact that this game was only available in a theme park that's totally dead now, Pokemon's triumphant leap into the fishing genre just refuses to be played nowadays. Here's a plethora of games that were delivered via online services in the early 90s, back when the internet was delivered via railroads or whatever. Yes, various game systems in this era kinda sorta supported online, but in different ways compared to how online support is handled nowadays. The Satellaview and Sega Channel were online services for the Super Famicom and Sega Genesis respectively. The Satellaview was more of a satellite broadcast modem offering games to be played at specific times, almost like the games were a radio broadcast you had to tune into. In fact, the way the games were delivered was basically like a radio broadcast. The games offered on the service varied from add-ons to remakes to remixes of previous games to just full-on new games. But this method of games delivery came with a caveat. Most, if not all of these games would not officially be re-released in any physical way, and thus fans had to step up to ensure these games could be played for generations to come by backing up the files online. The only way to get these games legitimately nowadays is to grab a Satellaview with the cartridge and memory pack, hopefully with previously broadcasted game data on it. A good majority of the Satellaview broadcasted games can be played now via emulators, and unofficial reproduction cartridges exist of various games, but many are not in their original state. For example, an expansion to The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past was released entitled Ancient Stone Tablets and featured a narrator speaking to the player alongside orchestrated music being streamed. While Ancient Stone Tablets can be played on an emulator nowadays, it's never been officially re-released by Nintendo, and the narrator and orchestrated music is completely lost. Another one is Kirby's Toy Box, a collection of games broadcasted via this service. They were minigames, basically an expansion of Kirby Superstar. Most of the minigames have been found, backed up, and can be played online right now, except for one. The game entitled Ball Rally is still lost and can't be played unless you just so happen to have a Satellaview with the game on it, which is something that has yet to surface. Just a few years ago, a good chunk of the Kirby's Toy Box games that were believed to be lost did end up surfacing, so don't completely count this one out just yet. But get ready for the most heart-wrenching lost game broadcast of them all. Garfield Caught in the Act Lost Levels. The Sega Channel for Sega Genesis was kind of Sega's version of the Satellaview, and similar to it, Sega offered some exclusive games on the service like Mega Man: The Wily Wars and Alien Soldier. Garfield Caught in the Act was offered to play, but also saw release as a physical cartridge. However, a handful of levels didn't make the cut in the final release and were finished for the Sega Channel version of the game. Many have nicknamed this as Garfield the Lost Levels, as they are completely lost. However, these levels are available on the Game Gear and PC versions of the game. It's not confirmed, but it's safe to assume that while these versions may be similar, they probably aren't one-to-one the same level designs as the levels on the Sega Channel version, which are gone and will most likely never resurface. No. The dependency many games have on online stores scares the piss out of me. So many games are digital only and can be taken off of the stores at any moment, making it almost impossible to play them. A good amount of the time, these games are taken off for licensing reasons. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World the game is a huge one that was taken off Xbox Live Arcade and the PlayStation Network. Being a retro-style beat-em-up based on the movie based on the graphic novels, this one has gained quite a following, so it's sad to see you can't play it anymore if you want to. Turtles in Time Reshelled was a reimagining of the arcade and SNES classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4 Turtles in Time, and yikes, I don't think a ton of people dug this one, so who cares that it's gone. The Simpsons arcade game was removed from XBLA and PSN, and that was already a game people were having a hard time getting a hold of to play. It was a bit of a miracle to see the game re-released on these platforms at all, so at least it did happen even though it was short-lived. Nintendo specifically did this with the enhanced re-release of The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords on DSiWare to commemorate the 25th anniversary of the Zelda series. It was always positioned as a free limited release, and it's been unavailable for years at this point. One of the most infamous delistings in recent memory, PT, a free playable teaser for the cancelled horror game Silent Hills. After the game's director Hideo Kojima and publisher Konami had a falling out, not only was Silent Hills cancelled, but PT was just absolutely eviscerated off the PlayStation Store. The only way you can play it today is if you still have it downloaded on your PlayStation 4, and even then, if you delete it, you can't even re-download it. Mario Roulette is an incredibly rare and obscure Japanese arcade game released by Konami. It's basically what it sounds like, a Mario Roulette featuring similar graphics to those found in the bonus stages from Super Mario World, but the only way you can play it today is if you find one. And spoilers, Jesus Christ, that's never going to happen. This is such an obscure rare release that not only is it nearly impossible to find, but even more difficult to back up online because, you know, it's never happened. The online multiplayer component of many games have been shut down. Looking at the games using the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection on the Wii and DS, multiplayer's donezo on a lot of those titles, but massive multiplayer online games are completely toast. When those things are shut down, it's completely game over. Many games are kept alive via fan servers, but more times than not, MMOs that die forever. It isn't always apparent just how fragile media can be. The Film Foundation estimated that over 90% of films before 1929 have been lost forever, which is way past unfortunate. That's history right there that never got justifiably preserved. Of course, with film, books, music, and the sort, these forms of media can be displayed and preserved in a multitude of ways now. Video games are a different story. Games are dependent on the hardware in which they were designed for. Movies, music, and books don't have that problem. They're all generally in formats that can be displayed on any computer, or any DVD or CD, or just pieces of paper. Games are trickier. The fact that they're designed for specific hardware in mind makes it more difficult to preserve. Many point to emulation, which of course emulates a specific video game console on different hardware, and yes, that's an excellent way to preserve games, especially and in my opinion, preferably when it's officially endorsed by the companies who originally made the game. Recent releases like the Mega Man Legacy collections are emulations of some classics, which many purists may scoff at, But in my opinion, if they play and look as they should, I commend re-releases like this, as it ensures that these games are readily available to play and won't be lost to history. But of course, not everything can be preserved, and we just have to live with that. I would love to get my hands on a lot of these games someday, but I'm not giving my hopes up. Honestly, the fact that some of these games are lost to history makes them more interesting in some cases, and potentially gives them more notoriety than if they were readily available. But it still would be nice to have hard copies of all these games. Of course, when talking about games that are lost and can't be played anymore, everybody has to mention Club Penguin, an online game where you just bro out with other people all displayed as penguins. You see, I never played Club Penguin, I was always more of a Nicktropolis guy, which suffered the same fate. Well, with these online chat room kids games gone forever, I guess I'm gonna have to relive what it's like to be a kid in one of these things by just going to a chat room and posing as a 12-year-old. Gotta ask this person how old they are these days first off, and with the age-old age question being thrown out there, I think I'm gonna leave it at young. 18? Get out of here. Think young, go younger. Don't worry guys, we're in an online chat room. These people are wholesome with a capital H. Scratch that.
Yeah, all my characters in Lost Ark, huge. Oh, what a cute little car! It's kind of cute.
Don't get any ideas, bitch.
What'd you say to me?
I said I'd rather be sold for scrap than have your bean sprout ass ride around in me again.
Ovally, it's not worth it. Remember what happened last time.
Oh yeah? Do it then. Do it, I dare you.
Oh, hell no! No, Ovally. No, you come here.
Yeah, that's right. Listen to your friend and walk away, bitch. I'm not scared of you. The only thing you up is your life choices. As if I'd be seen driving with this girl who looks like she licks the buttons on an arcade cabinet.
Hell no! Oh! 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 Yeah, I'd like to report an emergency. Oh! Hey, Charles. Yeah, it's us. Oh! Yeah, again. Can you make it to the parking lot? Oh! No, we need the ambulance to come inside. Yeah, okay. I'll be right back. Oh! Boosted.
For the love of God, I was supposed to get robbed tomorrow! Damn it! Well, my evening opened up. What am I gonna do now? I can't go, hey all, Scott here. I don't own Lasagna World Tour. False alarm. I lost everything. Well, except what the robber decided to leave. I wonder why. This is too convenient. You know what I really need to do is buy a $500 console alongside a $2,000 TV set, buy a $60 controller to play this free game for $60. Oh, brilliant!
Air. Take it, you son of a bitch.
I'm not one to make bad decisions. I'm one to buy a ninth Wii U. So the idea of a person paying full price for a game you can get for $1 or free, I don't even think God planned that one out. Listen, gaming is bigger than it's ever been before, and I think a key part of that massive growth is mobile gaming. Playing games on your smartphone. It counts. I mean, based on how much playtime occurs, I think my mom is a bigger gamer than I am based on Scrabble alone, yet I'm the loser. I feel like core home console gaming and mobile gaming, however, are a bit too different. There's different design philosophies at play, and mobile games are all created to be played via just a touchscreen. So while I appreciate that mobile gaming has broadened the video game landscape and do enjoy a few smartphone titles here and there, I think home consoles and mobile work best when separated. Trailblazer. Every so often, game companies figure that because mobile games do so well, that must mean they should only make mobile games from there on out, or incorporate elements of them into their console games, or say AAA gaming is dying. All because Grandpa bought the Bird app for $1. Oh my My God, the console game industry keeps flip-flopping between accepting what it is and trying to embrace mobile. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it works out, but most of the time it's like, hey, we're gonna put this game on mobile just because mobile is huge, even though it would do 10 times better on console because that's where the target demographic is. I'm not mad about it, I'm just really angry. But what about the inverse of that? What about taking a popular mobile game and putting it on a console? Whoever thought of that should get a Nobel Prize. In hell. Listen, I have a soft spot in my heart for, I don't know what else to call it, the golden age of mobile games. That period of time when the iPhone first opened its app store, come on, everybody remembers those commercials saying how there's an app for everything. When you get an Apple device with the App Store available on it, man, I'd just scroll through that thing for hours, finding all kinds of fun free apps, or I'd scrounge up enough money to spend $1 on one. Oh, the quality was horrendous for many of these apps, but it was a fun era. There was this feeling that smartphone apps could do anything. I downloaded apps that said they were universal TV remotes without any knowledge on how they'd work. They never did. Then there were the one-time gimmick apps like, ooh, a lighter. Nowadays, apps all kind of feel the same, and games are mostly free, which is cool, but they're all littered with ads. You can't do anything without a 30-second unskippable commercial blocking your way. And many of the most popular games, they all blend in. Back in 2009 or so, the most popular iPhone games were more unique. They were experiences designed specifically for the phone, and I feel like that contributed heavily to their popularity. Angry Birds was the biggest phenomenon, though it was never a favorite of mine. It was fun, addictive, and worked perfectly with a touchscreen-only device. Stretch a bird, political violence. The game originally cost 99 cents on the iPhone, $1.99 on the iPad, and there were a few releases in the series. You had the original vanilla Angry Birds Seasons, which gave you constant updates and new levels based on holidays and the time of year, and Angry Birds Rio. You know, they made a movie based on this game. I never considered this to be a trilogy, more so just variations of the original Angry Birds, but it doesn't matter because Activision did. Angry Birds Trilogy. For only $40, you can waste 37. Yeah, physical releases of the first 3 games for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, and Nintendo 3DS. Strangely, Wii U, and PlayStation Vita versions came a year later, considering these were platforms that honestly worked better for Angry Birds with touchscreens and pointer controls. The main selling point of Angry Birds Trilogy is to play it on a TV. Was it worth it? No. Don't get me wrong, I see value in playing this game on the TV. You know, pass the controller around, try to beat each other's high scores, but it's just so clunky here. What used to be a game with the simplest control method imaginable now uses literally every face button on the controller. That is impressive. I'd say the Wii and Wii U versions make the most sense. This release is nice as it does preserve 3 of the biggest mobile games ever, some of which have been delisted and discontinued from the app stores. Yeah, I'll give this release that. It keeps the Angry Birds Rio dream alive. But no matter what, I can't look past the fact that while this is a collection of games, it's a collection of games that retail for $3 total, $6 max buying the iPad versions. In fact, Trilogy was missing some levels from the original game. Some exclusive bonus levels are included, but does that really matter with Angry Birds? It's not like these levels are vastly different enough to make you think, wow, new level designs? You don't really care about the design itself. The fun of new levels in Angry Birds is the idea you have a new box to check off. Ooh, a new stage to be and get 3 stars in? The bonus stages in Angry Birds Trilogy. It's a fine release. I mean, the Angry Birds series are solid games. It would have been cool to get games made specifically for consoles rather than just the mobile games all over again, and the initial price point of $40, no matter who you were, was hard to swallow. So Activision listened, and they knew a trilogy of games wasn't enough for that price point. They charged more for one. Angry Birds Star Wars for $50, released 1 year later for pretty much every console at the time. I feel like they wanted to push to be there for the PS4 and Xbox One's launch, and they knew they could go consumers into buying into it. But the birds will be pissed. The fact they pretty much sold a single $1 mobile game for $50 when at the very least they could have included Angry Birds Star Wars 2 in the package, considering that came out a few months prior to this console release. I'll throw Angry Birds Space in there. It's pretty dumb. Like, who the hell would buy this? Ignore that question, but disregarding all of that, Angry Birds Star Wars does offer family fun for less than most AAA games. Multiplayer is now included, which adds so much value to the game, even though it's literally just passing the controller to the other player for their turn, which you never needed a multiplayer mode to do that before, but it's a fantastic addition to a solid game. That's how some reviews of this read, and I don't get it. To be fair, I think most saw this as ridiculous, and if it actually sold well, I think we would have seen far more physical Angry Birds releases by now. They were always banking on these games luring in parents that know nothing but their kid likes Angry Birds and maybe their kid's name, all without realizing you'd spend $90 on both releases when these would all cost you $4 on the App Store. But then again, it's good to know these games will forever be preserved via these physical methods. I'm sleeping well tonight. All right, enough about the pissy chicken saga. Let's talk about the best mobile game. Cut the Rope hit the scene around the same time as Angry Birds, and I always preferred it. A very simple yet engaging puzzle game. Nab all 3 collectible stars by cutting the ropes, holding the candy to get it to the monster Omnom's mouth. You know, a bunch of 9-year-olds see this game and go, oh, my childhood! But no, guys, let's give Cut the Rope more credit. I mean, I think this is so much better than Angry Birds. It's so smartly designed, and unlike that game, I remember so many of these levels. The gimmicks they employ, the sound effects, music, the visuals, and animation are phenomenal for a mobile game released in 2010. Hell, even in general, they're fantastic. And the fact this game could not work as well without a touchscreen, it just makes this one of my top mobile games of all time. If this was never a mobile game, it was just a DS game published by Nintendo, you would all eat it up. Every one of ya. But you know the old saying, if it's good, make it bad. Cut the Rope launched on the Nintendo DSi Shop channel in September of 2011. I should know, I bought it back then. I think you could all tell. I don't know, I knew I liked Cut the Rope on my iPod Touch and I wanted it on my DSi at the time, or Nintendo 3DS to be more exact. It is a pixelated, choppy as hell, dumbed down version of Cut the Rope. But it's still Cut the Rope. They translated it over to the DS as well as they could, honestly. Going for the horizontal book style, it works well enough, albeit there's no reason to play this if you already had an iPhone or iPod Touch at the time. I think one of the reasons I picked this up was due to the lack of software on 3DS at the time, so I went, yeah, sure, this'll aid in my buyer's remorse. But of course, I could tell this was a heavily watered down port. I kinda wondered, why didn't they just make Cut the Rope for the 3DS entirely? Well, it's my lucky day 8 years ago. In 2013, we got Cut the Rope Triple Treat, a physical 3DS game. I thought this was an entirely new Cut the Rope game made specifically for the 3DS. Triple Treat is like Angry Birds Trilogy, 3 Cut the Rope mobile games converted to a video game system, in this case, the 3DS. The back screenshots have these 3D models of Omnom, and I thought like, okay, that must be a new bonus side game or something. Each game is played on the bottom touchscreen, with the top being a completely superfluous 3D model of Omnom. When it gets the candy on the bottom screen, it gets it on the top, so it's sort of like the top screen is an extreme close-up, though it's delayed enough to not make for a cool effect. This isn't a bad game by a long shot. It runs much better than the DSi version, plus you get 2 other games, a collection of promotional animations, leaderboards. I really do think Cut the Rope is a good puzzle game, but playing on the 3DS doesn't benefit the experience at all. If anything, it's worse due to the lesser touchscreen. For $30 at launch, again, it's a bit much. It's not like you wouldn't get $30 of use out of this thing. I mean, the back of the box boasts over 50 hours of gameplay. Yeah, I got 4 years out of my $10 box cutter. Does that make it worth $900? Sticking to the 3DS, let's try out Doodle Jump Adventures, also released in 2013 alongside a DS version, Doodle Jump Journey plus Doodle Jump for Kinect for Xbox 360. Jesus, that was a big year for this stuff. Did everybody collectively go, let's make worse versions of our mobile games and charge 30 times more? Minds think alike. Doodle Jump is an endurance test. Tilt your device and see how high you can go. There's not much to it. This is one of those games you see all these adaptations and merch of because companies see it as a big phenomenon, when I think it did well because it was a simple game on the App Store during a time when people would download damn near anything if it was free. So of course it got a 3DS game and a Hot Topic t-shirt. Yeah, it's Doodle Jump, now taking place across 2 screens, which honest to God is kind of disorienting. Adventures refers to the campaign, which are literally just Doodle Jump stages with definitive ends, and that's it. Move on to the next one, basically the same thing. Is Doodle Jump Adventures worth it?
Our story began in Waterdeep, the city of splendors, with a group of scoundrels.
You'll be completely safe with me.
I really do love you, but that was absolutely disgusting.
A spider the size of a horse.
I shouldn't have picked these bowls.
In battle with a black dragon wormlet.
You guys are happy.
Let's be fair though, sometimes the transition to consoles can go quite smoothly. Here we have Fruit Ninja Connect. Oh, he's not a ninja, he's a fruit ninja.
Oh, badass.
This is one of the best conversion ideas. Fruit Ninja was all about swiping combos of fruit while avoiding missing any and bombs, but Connect for Xbox 360 gives you the exact game, but you use your body now, karate chopping the fruit away. It's honestly one of the best uses for Connect, and is truly distinctive enough from the mobile release to be completely warranted here. Fruit Ninja for PlayStation Vita is literally the exact same thing as the iPhone release at the time, so bravo, it was a flawless conversion. But why do this in the first place? Oh. So, it's the exact same game, downloadable only, no new control options, featured anything, for $8. At least with Angry Birds Trilogy and Star Wars, you had the excuse of them being on home consoles for the first time. Wait, actually Angry Birds was made available on the PS3 and PSP stores separately as early as 2011. Almost seems like there was a push by Sony to have some popular mobile games on the PS3 because around this time, Jetpack Joyride hit the system. While overpriced and offering nothing new, these versions I think feel pretty genuine as downloadable games from this era. The same goes for Flight Control, which released on DSiWare, WiiWare, and PlayStation 3, only in Europe and Japan for some reason. No market for it in the US. In Europe, they won't shut up about it. Games like Pac-Man 256 released on PS4 and Xbox One after the mobile version without any microtransactions or advertisements, with controller support for just one low price, which this game works great in both contexts. As a quick pick up and play mobile game and as a fun content complete downloadable console release. It proves there's genuinely really quality stuff on mobile, stuff that can work just as great on consoles as well. Gameloft is the leading supplier of mobile games. They've always been that, just a B-grade Ubisoft clone who pumps out unoriginal, uninspired mobile ripoffs of more popular console games. Their games aren't horrible or anything, but they're just nothing sacks of not. And their premier series has always been Asphalt, basically your mobile phone alternative to Need for Speed. This is a long-running series, but who gives a The original Asphalt, Urban GT, and Urban GT2 released on Nintendo DS actually before cell phones, though starting with Asphalt 3, it became a completely mobile-focused series. The games like Asphalt 4 hit the Nintendo DSi shop, and Asphalt 6 the Nintendo 3DS as a launch title. Asphalt 3D. This was one of the first 3DS games I bought, mainly because it was the only game I could afford after already picking up Pilotwings Resort. After reading Oedipus Rex, I said I too should have a tragic ending. I remember not having any opinions on this game, and frankly, that's how I feel about this entire series. It's such a soulless car game. There's nothing unique about it. It gets the job done. Like if you have a pheromone release when you see a car move, sure. But Ridge Racer 3D launched right alongside the 3DS too, so it's like, why not go for that one? I'll tell you why, because Asphalt is always cheap or free. That's how they get you. Asphalt 9 was a mobile game converted to the Nintendo Switch, and it's more of the same, but this time it's free to play. Again, it's playable, it works, it does the job, but there's something about these games that always makes me feel like I'm wasting my time playing them. And I just beat Ride to Hell Retribution. Now, why does Gameloft bring these games to consoles? Well, it's usually if they think they can fill a certain void. Case in point, Modern Combat Blackout on Nintendo Switch. This series is to Call of Duty what Asphalt is to Need for Speed. Who the hell likes this series? Put your damn hands down! If you want a Call of Duty-like experience on your smartphone, here you go! Call of Duty! Even the title is just a ripoff of Modern Warfare, and again, the games, they're fine, but they review surprisingly well, and I think that is entirely due to the fact that they're good for mobile games. But then when they brought it to Nintendo Switch, the cracks start to show with games like this in Asphalt when you put them on an actual console, and the only reason they put Modern Combat on the Nintendo Switch was due to the lack of Call of Duty. There was no legitimate game from the series on the platform at the time, and people wanted a first-person shooter experience like that to play. Gameloft saw the opportunity and quickly put a mobile game from 2014 on the system for $20. Take notes, Sophocles. It's not great, in fact, it feels pretty pathetic. I wish they'd put more effort into redesigning the menus of these mobile games when converting them to console. It's just so painfully obvious when something was designed for a touchscreen. And even the controls, while functional, I feel like they were designed to mimic regular FPS controls, but compensating for the clunkiness of the touchscreen, but then letting you use a controller for it. It's so hard to explain, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, many developers just port over mobile games to the Nintendo Switch, and it's always this really underwhelming feeling when it happens. The system was marketed as a home console, and I'll always see it as that. But when a great handful of games are just mobile ports, there's nothing special feeling about that. Being able to play a mobile game on Switch gives me no joy. There's no feeling of, look at what I'm doing, ma. To which she says, Scott, I don't care you're playing Shinsekai Into the Depths on Switch that's been on iPhone for a year. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition was a mobile conversion of Final Fantasy 15, and instead of the actual Final Fantasy 15 on Nintendo Switch, we got this version, and I'm sad. There's nothing special about any of this, especially if these versions are replacing getting the traditional edition of the game. Then it's more of a slap in the face compared to not getting any version at all. And then the Pokemon spin-offs. There's a ton that release simultaneously on mobile and Switch, and they either feel out of place on mobile or out of place on Switch. And now, to be fair, they normally launch on Switch first, but you can't fool me. Games like Pokemon Quest and Pokemon Cafe Mix were designed for mobile first. Just look at them. It's unfortunate because we used to get so many Pokemon spin-offs of all kinds for the Game Boy Advance, DS, Nintendo 64, GameCube, Wii, and now, while we still get some big boy spin-offs, a lot of Pokemon spin-offs are relegated to being free-to-play mobile games that get a half-assed Switch version to throw us a bone. But in reality, I think this just opens these games up to more criticism. Again, look at the differences between the review scores of Modern Combat on mobile and Modern Combat on Switch. You become a lot more critical when you play a mobile game on a console like this. But that's just a testament to how big mobile has become. It's impossible to ignore, and a franchise like Pokemon makes perfect sense for the platform. Mobile franchises have become so big that we end up getting things like Puzzle & Dragons Super Mario Bros. Edition. Yeah, a mobile game turned 3DS game with an official Nintendo license on it all. I have no idea if I like how this game looks or not. Well, something like this is far more understandable becoming a retail game, especially considering it was made from the ground up for the console. Like VR spin-offs or stuff like the Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare series. Plants vs. Zombies wasn't a mobile game first, but it hit the platform way before consoles, and Plants vs. Zombies 2 is only a mobile game. I'll count it. To be honest, most versions of this game work fairly well. The touchscreen of the Nintendo DS, the version for Xbox 360 was very fine-tuned. It feels great here, but the third-person shooter spin-off, well, that does make a bit more sense for the system. But hey, what if mobile games had their own dedicated system? No. Nuh-uh. Christ, yes. Take me back to 2013, when every company was making micro consoles literally only capable of streaming Netflix, and even then some of them couldn't do that. These $100 systems were based on mobile operating systems, so they'd have some mobile games retooled to work on a TV, and in their marketing, they basically said, who needs a PS4 when you can play Crossy Road on this $99 back scratcher? Again, it can't even do that. Here's the thing, I think many companies don't understand what makes mobile games successful and just think, oh, that means everybody loves this, put it everywhere. Listen, man, I play Flappy Dunk on my iPhone all the time, but it's more of a nervous tick than a, oh, I love this game. I just want something to do with my fingers, stimulate my eyes for a brief moment. Does that mean I'm a big fan? No, it just means I have more to work on mentally than I thought. When Flappy Bird was the biggest sensation for no other reason than it was a bitch hard, and all the high school students and coworkers were saying, hey, I got 4 points in Flappy Bird. No, I got 10. The developer removed it from the App Store afterwards, and when Amazon got the exclusive sequel, Flappy Bird's Family, for the Amazon Fire TV, who really gave a Mobile games are so much less engrossing than normal console releases. I play mobile games very infrequently, but when I do, I'm not super into them. I know they're just for quick distractions, even if they're legitimately well-designed experiences. So banking on popular mobile games to sell well in any context doesn't really work. Just because these games did well on mobile, it doesn't mean they'll elicit the same reactions on consoles. But that also holds true for console games making the jump to mobile as well. So how about if they jump back? Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. All the PlayStation 2 Grand Theft Autos were remade for mobile devices. Let me tell you, I bought Grand Theft Auto 3 immediately when that released on iPhone in 2011. I mean, that was a dream come true to be able to play a PlayStation 2 game on the go. And it 100% was that, but it just didn't feel right played on a touchscreen. Like an idiot, I proceeded to buy every Grand Theft Auto that released on mobile afterwards and always had the same reaction. But San Andreas has always been my favorite of the series, and shortly after the mobile release, a new version for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 launched, which was the mobile version. What the hell was this? I guess they wanted to do a remaster of San Andreas and just figured the mobile version was good enough, but like I said, when you do a mobile to console conversion, at least change the menus. It's so obvious when menus were designed for mobile. This just doesn't feel right. You converted a game that used the controller to work with the touchscreen, but then converted that version back to work with just the controller. I don't know why, it just feels weird. And on top of that, it's just not a good version. There's so many bugs and glitches, and the game crashes constantly. It just doesn't work well. I have no idea why they even made this. It came out after the Xbox One and PS4 for the PS3 and Xbox 360. They only remastered San Andreas and not the other games from that generation, which also got mobile ports, so this gets the same reaction nearly all these other games got from me. Why the f?
Most mobile to console conversions inherently feel lazy, and that's just the stigma with most mobile releases. They're always seen as lesser than console ones, and sometimes they are, but sometimes they aren't. And hey, what else was I gonna do at the apartment today? Take a bath? The rumors are true. I was robbed, but if today taught me anything, it's that no matter how bad your day gets, you're doing better than the guy that bought this.
Ladies and gentlemen, everybody watching at home from around the world.
Yes, I'm here in Cologne for the finals of Intel Extreme.
Hello and welcome to another episode of G4's Crash Course.
He's the first cleanly has. Nexus is next. They can't let it slip. Oh no. They're letting it slip. Okay, Hunter and Nico will collect.
Hey all, Scott here. I am not doing well. It's been a week since Daylight Savings Day. Worst holiday. I've changed my clocks. I'm still not used to it. I hate change. I've had the same feet for years, thank you. I don't want to change, and I'm gonna stick to doing what I do best. Playing games that released in 2018 on the PS3.
The next generation of gaming is upon us. It's time to upgrade.
No! No!
Yeah, upgrading can be scary. I just consider myself a big fetus with hair. See, some people are perfectly content with what they already have. They don't need to constantly buy new toys to feel excitement. They can just keep playing with their mud and grass while I buy my 4th new iPhone this month. They may be fiscally responsible, but who's having the real fun here? But when a new video game console launches, there's always those few games that make anybody go, I want it. I want the brand new console with the new controller in this game and a compliment. Maybe not the compliment. Buying new game consoles the second they come out is always expensive. You don't really get the early adopter discount most of the time. You pay more to experience something first, but we live in an age where the second after a fancy new product is released, it's immediately outdated. If you wait around for it to get cheaper, the next new thing will come out to replace it. Then you'll wait for that to get cheaper and it happens all over again. We're in an endless loop of spending too much money. So, yeah, I don't care about that fancy new console. I'll stick to my old one. It doesn't matter anyways because all those new games coming out, yeah, they may be releasing for the new generation, but they're also releasing on the last one. Poverty wins again. These are cross-generation games that release not only for the current generation consoles, but the last generation consoles as well. Xbox One games also releasing on Xbox 360, PlayStation 4 games also releasing on PlayStation 3.
and 2. But see, these downgraded versions can either be undeniably impressive or flat out terrifying. Sometimes they take a lot away from the big boy current gen versions since they have to create those games with the previous generation in mind. They can't go hog wild with the PS4 game because, remember, they're making a PS3 game too. Though sometimes the last gen version is made first and then a current gen version is created based off of that build. I think this is the most resourceful way to go about it. But of course, most of the time they just take the current generation version and cheese grate the out of it to fit on older consoles. Come on, video game industry, listen to me, white kid chair sits. So what defines a cross-generation game? Well, to me, I'm considering to be games that release on 2 or more generations of game consoles around the same time. It could be on the same day or within the first few months. This has been a standard for a while now. Back in the NES days, some games released between that and the SNES and Sega Genesis. But the NES version of a game was almost always completely different from the SNES version. Spot the difference. However, Nintendo themselves did a few cross-gen games, releasing on both systems. All puzzle games. Tetris 2, Yoshi's Cookie, Wario's Woods, these made their way to multiple consoles because NES users were worried they would have to buy a Super Nintendo just for Wario's Woods. Puzzle games aren't too graphically intensive and pretty simple overall, so putting them on the NES just made sense. Might as well support the system a couple seconds longer. It was usually the simplest games that made their way over to past consoles back then, like Frogger. The PS1 game came out, and right alongside it were versions for the Genesis and SNES. These were 100% not the same games. But see, the cross-generation games I like are the ones where the platform list is a nutritional facts label. It just keeps going and I just accept it. Games that appear on this many platforms are usually of the licensed kid game variety. One of the most notorious examples, Donald Duck Goin' Quackers. 8 platforms. Now, to be fair, some versions came out 2 years after the others, and 2 of these are handheld variants for the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance. But just the fact this game swaps spit with nearly every console from one generation, and then the next one as well, is just straight up impressive. This has always been my standard. Normally for the first few years of a console, some games will come out for the previous generation as well, that's to be expected, but when the shift from the 6th generation to the 7th generation was happening, the game companies didn't know when to pump the brakes. The Rat-Tat-Tooie video game. 11 different versions. Thank God, 2 people were scared they couldn't play. Licensed kids games in the mid to late 2000s were on as many platforms as it could possibly be on, and that's something we just don't see nearly as much nowadays. It's probably because back then the PlayStation 2 was still going strong. It was the most popular console of all time, and with the Nintendo Wii releasing to enormous success and having a similar power level, it just made sense to still produce versions of Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 games for this lower level of hardware. And at that point, you might as well puke out something for the GameCube. So many game consoles were a thing at the time, and nearly all of them had good reasons for developers to want to release on them. The Xbox 360, the most popular HD system at the time. The PlayStation 3, not as popular and harder to develop for, but there was still an install base, and it had comparable specs to the 360, so might as well put your game out on that. The Wii, now far less powerful than the 360 and PS3, but it had the biggest install base out of all of them. The PS2 was still selling and still had active users, and could run games made for the Wii pretty well, but why not make a last-gen version of the title? There's still an active audience for that. And hey, the PlayStation Portable is sort of a portable PlayStation 2. It shouldn't be too hard to squirt that version on there. And at that point, I mean, might as well do a GameCube and Xbox version. A lot of users on these older consoles were kids. They can't immediately upgrade to the new systems whenever they want, so if you're making a kids game, making versions for these consoles, it just made sense. PC and Mac versions too, why not? Oh, and Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS games. They'll be completely different, but it makes the list funnier. It's all about making your game as accessible as possible. No matter what console somebody has, they should have the audacity to play your game. And one of the oddest examples of this initiative were the Burger King games on Xbox and Xbox 360. There was a promotion for a while where you could get these exclusive games at Burger King. They play on both Xbox and Xbox 360. You'd think that means, oh, these were just made for the original Xbox, and then the Xbox 360 could play the original Xbox games. The 360 can in fact play a good chunk of original Xbox games. No, there is a separate original Xbox version of these games and an Xbox 360 version on the same disc. It changes based on what you use it on, just like Bengay. Cross-generation games were just different back then. There were so many different active consoles running all at the same time that it just made sense to put cars on everything. Except the PS3. The PS3 owners, just admit it, you f***ed up, but there was a game that changed cross-generation games forever. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, released as a launch title for the Wii and 1 month later on the GameCube. See, Twilight Princess was initially revealed as just a GameCube game, but as time went on, its completion date lined up perfectly with the launch of Nintendo's next home console. Uh-oh! So why not prioritize a version for that console and have this big sweaty launch title alongside it? It was the same game across both consoles. I mean, the Wii was pretty much a GameCube on Adderall. It was more powerful, but is a rock really better than a big stone? Twilight Princess on Wii is in widescreen, which is nice, though so much of the screen real estate is blocked by a giant Wii Remote diagram, so it's sort of a half upgrade. You have forced motion controls in this version, of course. It was the Wii and a launch title at that. They wanted to show off how the Wii Remote could be a sword. They could have let you plug in a GameCube controller to control it just like the GameCube version, but of course, they wanted Wii users to be Wii users. Now, you'd think with the GameCube and Wii being so similar power-wise that these would be pretty identical versions outside of controls and the aspect ratio. Well, consider that most of the population is right-handed. Link has prominently been left-handed in Zelda games up to this point. Swinging the Wii Remote with your right hand when Link attacks with his left would feel funny. So they decided to make Link right-handed in the Wii version. That was obviously done by just changing Link's model, right? Ah. It says no. The Wii version of Twilight Princess is mirrored. The entire game is flipped compared to the GameCube version. I mean, when the Wii version of this game was announced, did anybody say, yeah, I hope it's flipped? In all honesty, it's kind of cool they did that. It gives each version distinction while not necessarily taking away from either one. Cross-gen releases were always frequent, but Twilight Princess was one of the first big AAA titles to do so. A game you'd legitimately buy a new console for, releasing on an old one around the same time. This became a huge trend starting with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So many games released on those consoles in addition to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Though the difference was, there was quite a big leap in terms of power. Can PS4 games run on the PS3? Sure. Destiny, Far Cry 4, Dragon Age Inquisition, Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, Assassin's Creed 4, Thief, Call of Duty Ghosts, Metal Gear Solid 5, Ground Zero, Battlefield 4, Need for Speed Rivals, Murdered Soul Suspect, Alien Isolation, Evil Within, Dragon Ball Xenoverse, Resident Evil Revelations 2, Battlefield Hardline, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, all released on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. To be honest, many of these games worked on these platforms. Here I have Wolfenstein: The New Order for Xbox 360, coming on a whopping 4 discs. One of them we pop in just to install the game onto the hard drive. That's how you can tell if the game really wasn't made for the 360, when you have to install it. This is normal, this is normal, this is normal. Playing the game, I mean, it works, everything's all here, though when it switches from the super high quality cutscenes to the actual gameplay, it's so much more noticeable than on PS4. It doesn't look too bad, but it obviously doesn't look the greatest either. But if you only had an Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 and wanted to play this game, it's not a bad option. I did get stuck on nothing here though, and then my bullets were suspended in the air. I could shoot them though, so false alarm. Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain was such an odd game to be cross-gen. It released in late 2015, and being such a huge graphical showcase, you'd think they'd want to keep it on PS4 and Xbox One, but nope, 360 and PS3 versions with a mandatory install, thank you very much. Jesus, you can tell this was not made for these consoles, just how pixelated everything can be. It still looks alright, so you can tell this game is not the most comfortable in this environment. And there's Watch Dogs. Oh, Watch Dogs. A game initially revealed as the showcase title for the next generation, a game that couldn't be done on the current platforms, an experience you'd have to buy a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One for. But it also runs on soap. 2 discs and 1 installation later, bam, it's Watch Dogs as God intended. Mediocre.
I didn't realize there would be actual applause.
Yes! Life-changing. That's all you do in this game!
Graphics and what have you. Marvel Spider-Man by Insomniac Games gets a 5 out of 5.
So I have a question.
Am I considered a classic?
Zelda! Oh.
Most of these 360 versions run fine enough. I mean, they're not as good as the next-gen alternatives, but if you really wanted to play these games and this was your only option, definitely serviceable. It's just odd seeing some games go the cross-gen route, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. Could a game like this run on the 360? Oh, no problem. Look at these clouds. Titanfall was a game that actually got people interested in the Xbox One initially. And it also came to Xbox 360 a month later. Well, that deflates a lot of excitement. Even when the game is coming to Xbox One, just knowing a 360 version existed, well, nice for 360 users, it kind of made you think, like, is this game gonna be a compromised experience on Xbox One because they had to consider the fact it was coming to 360 as well? The crew came to PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox 360. Not the PS3, I just thought that was kind of funny. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 made its way to the last generation consoles. Multiplayer only. These things are a stand-up routine. Laugh. Persona 5 released on the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 in 2017, which is insane. I mean, many times games release on older platforms like that due to kept promises. This was an era of long development and crowdfunding, so when game projects were proposed and took years to actually come out, and a 360 version was promised when the 360 was actually alive, so developers promised a 360 version of Mighty No. 9, you bet your ass they kept that promise. They made Mighty No. 9. Though as time went on, many games that were planned to appear on previous generations just end up not working out. Either they figured the amount of effort it would take to port their game over wouldn't be worth it based on the current install bases, the game was just too intense to run well, or they just didn't feel like it anymore. Mortal Kombat X, Mad Max, Dying Light, Shantae, Half Genie Hero, last gen versions were planned but ended up being cancelled. But Little Big Planet 3 released on PS3. Why? It's not like Sony was doing a ton of PS3 games releasing right alongside PS4 versions. Like, there were so many PS3 games released the year of the PS4. They could have put Gran Turismo 6 on the PS4, Ratchet & Clank Into the Nexus, Puppeteer, Sly Thieves in Time, God of War Ascension. No! Little Big Planet 3! That's the only one that needs to be on both. Hey, they did us a favor. The PS3 wouldn't be the PS3 without Little Big Planet 3 in 2014. So these are all sort of neat. They exist. It's kind of fun. They all run and look worse than their next-gen counterparts. No way. But it's sort of cool to see these games I know of as PS4 titles running on hardware released in 2005. But sometimes, developers go a different route and decide to make exclusive versions of games to run on old systems. I believe this is referred to as stupid. These are sort of cross-gen. I mean, they are and they aren't. Exclusive versions of games for the previous generation. Interesting tactic. And I think Ubisoft takes the cake here for most effort put into a dog idea. It's 2014, and Assassin's Creed Unity is releasing for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and PS4, Xbox One, and PC only. I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised Ubisoft was that quick to make Assassin's Creed a current-gen only game. The last entry, Black Flag, was on everything because it was a launch title for the new consoles, and then the next year, bam! Only for the new consoles. But that was because they created an exclusive Assassin's Creed game for the previous gen, Assassin's Creed Rogue, released on the same day as Unity. These are two separate games you need two separate generations of hardware to experience. They did this as an experiment. It was hard for publishers to give up support on this generation because it lasted a lifetime and these systems had huge install bases. They were worried that loads of players were still on 360 and PS3 and would either miss out on the latest Assassin's Creed or wouldn't buy a watered down port. How about an exclusive one just for them? See if there's a reason to keep both of these platforms around. I don't know. This was well into the Assassin's Creed fatigue. People were already getting tired of a new game every year, so what does Ubisoft do? Release two Assassin's Creeds on the same day. God, I'm so sick of peanut butter. I wish I had 2 jars instead of 1. I just view this as a waste of development. The team that made this could have made anything but Assassin's Creed for either current or previous gen systems, but no. They had to make another game and a series milk dry on consoles nobody cared about anymore. A similar situation happened with Call of Duty when World at War released for Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii, a separate version released on the PlayStation 2, World at War Final Fronts. A completely separate game. I still don't understand the point of this. Obviously, World at War would have worked on the PS2. It worked on the Wii, so what was the big deal? This was probably them testing the waters, just like with Assassin's Creed Rogue, see if the PS2 audience still cared about new exclusive games in 2008. Sonic Unleashed on the Wii and PS2 released alongside the 360 and PS3 versions. They are completely different games. They follow roughly the same plot and structure, but the levels are all different, so it's like, is this a cross-gen game or just straight up different entities? Sonic the Hedgehog released on the Sega Master System and Sega Genesis. What is this? Again, 2 completely different games. Is this cross-gen? One of my favorite weird examples is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Much like the mainline Pokemon games, the first game was released as 2 separate versions, Blue Rescue Team and Red Rescue Team. Both on different consoles on the same day. Blue was on the Nintendo DS, Red was on the Game Boy Advance. How many people went, I can and I can also with that? I think that's confusing if anything. Cross-gen games became more and more common as the years went on. They were mostly reserved for the kids' games, but lately, look at this. So many games releasing on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and the 4th generation of Xbox consoles. It's becoming commonplace for big AAA games to release across generations like this. One of the greatest games of the generation is debatable whether it's a part of this generation or not, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This was almost an exact repeat of the Twilight Princess situation. The game was announced for Wii U, got delayed so many times, its completion date lined up with the Nintendo Switch's release. Oh god, they didn't mean to! It made for one hell of a launch title and swan song for the Wii U. I mean, the reason for this game being cross-gen wasn't necessarily to give it the biggest install base possible, rather, it was out of obligation. They announced they were working on Zelda for Wii U all the way back in 2013. People bought Wii U's just for this game. They had to release it for the system. And it works. There's really not any cool differences between versions like there was with Twilight Princess on the GameCube and Wii. You can play the game directly on the gamepad, though the original plan was to have the map always down there. That would have been a cool feature exclusive to the Wii U version, but that was scrapped. Both releases look nearly identical. From my experience, the Switch version seems to look and run a bit better, but they're pretty much the same. It's probably a lot of shiny new device bias. Of course the Switch version looks better. Don't tell me I wasted $300. Well, technically, in some ways, the Wii U version actually loads faster. Again, not by much though. But when we hit the home button and then go back to the game, it needs to reload on Wii U. We also have to install a ton of data, so while the Wii U may have been the original platform for the game, it was definitely pretty optimized for the Switch. Yeah, it's a lot of work to put your game on multiple platforms. I should know, I've played Bubble Bobble. I know everything about video games, but that doesn't stop some franchises from going on every platform conceivable. For example, the LEGO games. You can always count on these being something you call an exterminator for. Just Dance, yep, multiple entries released on the Nintendo Switch, the Wii U, and the Wii all at the same time, in addition to Xbox 360 and PS3 releases. And then Just Dance 2020 released on just the current platforms and the Wii. To be fair, it made sense not to make a Wii U version. I mean, you can play the Wii game through the Wii U. It's not like you'd be missing out that year. And of course, we can't forget, where's the Wii U version? The sports games. FIFA 2005 ended up being released on the PlayStation 1 in 2004. FIFA 19 released for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 in 2018. But this one was the Legacy Edition, which meant EA didn't care, and this is just FIFA 17 or something with an updated player roster. But then FIFA 14 in 2013 released for the PS2. Same Legacy Edition tactic of an older FIFA game re-released, but this game came out for the PS3 and PS4, as well as the PSP and PS Vita. The Wii? Not the Wii U though, this is ridiculous. But look at how many versions existed. That's almost as crazy as... No, this is pretty sane. Sports games have sort of settled down in terms of platforms supported. Madden barely goes outside of the PlayStation and Xbox consoles anymore and jumped out of the previous generation decently quickly. Persona 5 came out for the PS3 more recently than Madden did. The Madden of the new generation. Cross-generation games are undoubtedly good for the consumer, not forcing everybody to spend hundreds of dollars on a new system to play a game that can technically work perfectly fine on the console they already have. But I'd be lying if I said their existence didn't make things less exciting when a new generation comes along. Why should I care? I can play this game on a tree trunk. What's there to be excited about? I think it just goes to show that the games are truly what matters here. You shouldn't buy a new console just because it's the new console. You should buy it because there are meaningful experiences to have on there. If the games on that platform are already available on the platform you already have, you don't need the new console. But Sackboy has a 5 on the box now. I said don't buy the console, you can buy the games.
First thing I'm gonna get you to do, sort the negative attitude out. You're a strong man, okay? You're strong. Turn the frown upside down.
Rowan, we're gonna die! We're gonna die, Rowan!
Good luck, adventurer!
Hey all, Scott here. I bought new clothes. That's why they always call me New Clothes Scott. I love designs like this so much. I should go as far as possible with that love.
What kind of tattoo you want? Plaid.
Could have just gotten the Xbox controller. It's a brand new day. I wake up and what do? I buy more useless trash. If I run out of money, I'll just sell another kidney. I don't care. Look, I bought another rice cooker for the collection. That's a core problem when it comes to your everyday video game player. We end up buying a lot of stuff we don't really need? I mean, sure, I don't need Rhythm Heaven Fever. Damn it, I need two. They're obviously products we all want, but don't really need. However, buying new video games brings us entertaining experiences we wouldn't have had otherwise. But we all have those things we really don't need, but sort of kind of want anyways, and game companies know this. That's why they all say, grab the paint, Scott's a moron. I'm not as ashamed as I wanted to be. These special editions, products that have a special little paint job that makes you squirm at the thought of not owning it. Even if you have the standard edition of a game console already and it works perfectly fine, you even think it already looks nice and sleek and all that, just when a glacier white PlayStation 4 gets announced, yeah, alright, where do I sign? Special edition game systems have somewhat puzzled me because in many cases, these special editions appeal to hardcore fans who already own the console, so to have them buy a completely new one just for a different paint job, it's a lot to go through. Which is why I think special edition controllers are where it's at. The controllers are the kind of things you usually buy multiples of for your system, so hey, why not pick up the special ones? You can never have enough of this. But here's the thing, controllers are absolutely abused. These things are put through so much, and if you play games, you know you're prone to some thumb grease. To buy a controller based on its looks alone, and with it only being available for a limited time, I almost don't want to use it. I know if I do, it's more susceptible to wear and tear, and if it breaks down, I don't want to buy another one. By the time I have to do that, it's going to be 10 times more expensive online. Have you seen the Cheeto market? People pay top dollar for special trash. Imagine how much I have to pay for a new Halo Reach controller. Who chews on thumbsticks? Special edition controllers. They're always a joy to see, plus you can usually warn picking these up because you can never have too many controllers. However, I never want anything to ever happen to these. They're too precious. That's why I don't have anybody over anymore.
Yeah, so I kind of have this weird thing where I have to lick every controller that I see.
Donkey Kong! Listen, I'll usually buy something like this when it's either A, related to a game I like, or B, the design makes me swoon. I own a Xenoblade Chronicles 2 controller and have no interest in the game. I feel like I'm on a list somewhere. But sometimes special edition controllers are more trouble than they're worth. Again, that's why nobody's invited over here anymore. You have the one guy that notoriously doesn't bathe his fingers go, yeah, I'll take the gold one. Like, what the f? Don't do that to my controller! But to truly appreciate special edition controllers now, we have to go back to when companies said, do it yourself. People have been customizing their controllers ever since the dawn of time, and if you want to reach a bit, we could consider decals to be the first instance of the special edition. I think a lot of people have seen these Nintendo-powered decals for NES controllers. You'd get them with the magazine and just stick them onto your gamepad. These things have always been a thing, still prevalent nowadays. These are the cheapest possible solution to give your controller some flair. The only one I technically have is the controller skin that came with the Sonic Forces bonus edition. Joking hazard? Thank God I read that. But nobody likes talking sticky paper. Everybody wants to talk about controllers that come with paper pre-sticked. Special edition controllers really hit it big during the Nintendo 64 days, and not only were there multiple colors to choose from, but some fancy designs that were definitely harder to come by. Some of these were given away via promotions or sweepstakes or specific catalogs within magazines like the Millennium 2000 controller or the Nintendo Power 100th issue gold one. However, one I own happens to be the Donkey Kong 64 controller. It was a special order item through Nintendo Power, not all too different compared to the standard yellow, but it's hauling the tips with this one. They're bananas. This design makes me way more okay with the standard controller layout. So that's what these things were supposed to be. Many look towards the golden controllers for their daily dose of dopamine, and scream special edition more than crippling debt. So of course there was a gold Nintendo 64 controller, but there was an even golder asterisk controller that is way past rarer. These ones were given away at a Star Fox 64 tournament at Nintendo's E3 1997 booth, and are pretty similar to the standard gold you could get in stores. However, this one had a fancy Nintendo 64 logo on the front. I'd consider the Nintendo 64 to be where special controller variants were truly born. Sure, there were constant revisions of the Sega Genesis controller, for example, but those primarily boiled down to red buttons, black buttons. With the N64 offering 4 controller ports, that obviously meant more controllers were to be sold, so why not sweeten the deal a bit with some designs only a mother could love? These weren't revisions, rather they were for fans of the console and games. But at this time in gaming, special edition consoles were way more prevalent than just controllers. You were lucky if the controller included in the box got any love at all. The PS1 and Sega Saturn dabbled in this here and there, but we really had to take one giant leap of faith into the following generation where we can truly start to see some more special controllers make their debut. The Sega Dreamcast took some notes from the Nintendo 64. See, we have 4 controller ports, you know what that means. It's blue. But the GameCube was where it's at for special variants. I'd say it definitely wasn't on par with the N64, but we have some interesting ones here. What I happen to have is a controller you can only purchase via Club Nintendo Japan, the Luigi controller. Oh god, I can't wait to see what it's like. Who could have thought? Club Nintendo was home to some of the more sought-after special editions for the console. We have a Mario Wario in the standard Club Nintendo design, with the Mario design also being offered by Club Nintendo Europe. I honestly think the most interesting thing about these are the boxes. Not only do I like the official name being Luigi Controller, but they made sure to include denim. I know what you're thinking. I love the GameCube. There were a ton of other designs bundled with limited edition consoles, but what about controllers with special functions? Like, see, I enjoy this, but I just want more. I think I found another choking hazard. The keyboard controller is the white whale of my video game collecting career. I want it, but right around the time I discovered it, it was pricey, no doubt, but definitely obtainable. Now we've officially entered the year 2020, and damn it, there goes my 5th kidney. This was only available in Japan and only for Phantasy Star Online, so you could communicate with other players quickly. Yes, this may have no use to me, but come on, who wouldn't want this? Scribes? Maybe Scribes. Of course, if we're talking limited special controllers during this era, there was of course the Resident Evil 4 controller. Oh, that's nice. What the f? This is no doubt one of the most notoriously bizarre controllers ever created, a chainsaw. Now, of course, one of the iconic enemies in RE4 was the Chainsaw Man. Considering that he uses a chainsaw and you don't, I don't see how immersive this controller really is, but bonus points where bonus points are due, it truly feels like I'm playing a game with a chainsaw. This was also released for the PlayStation 2 and is definitely more of a product of Capcom's than Nintendo's or Sony's. Which that does bring up how third-party companies can definitely put out their own wacky editions, usually in cooperation with companies that specialize in this kind of trash. The Shadow the Hedgehog PS2 controller, yeah, lines at the store for that one. Sony was never the biggest into custom designs, and normally they'll just do new colors, and maybe some special ones here and there, but this is one area where the Redmonders reign supreme. Of all these options, did you really think the publisher of Fusion Frenzy would put out the most controller variants? Now, the original Xbox, they were pretty humble. Here and there we got a few, especially with special edition systems, no biggie. But then, the Xbox 360 came around. Is this a joke? A lot of these are relatively inexpensive, considering I feel that collectors of Xbox stuff are way more endangered comparative to Nintendo and PlayStation collectors. Darwinism is hilarious. But that never stopped Microsoft from putting out just a ton of special edition controllers, many of which were just that, controllers. You could buy them separately from a console bundle or something. Here I have a Halo Reach controller and a Gears of War 3 controller. I do like the overall look of both of them. I think the Gears one has a better overall design, but I love the minimalistic take on Reach's variant. But I bought these for like 10 bucks a pop online. I got this one back in the 360's heyday with my own 14-year-old money. I like this one. It's been my go-to 360 controller ever since. The material used feels really premium, and the overall design being completely grayscale is sleek as all hell. The only problem is some games may tell you hit the yellow button, and now you know my colorblind hell. Weirdly enough, Sony and Nintendo barely dived into the special controller market this generation. The Wii was basically just white for most of its life, and then by the time people stopped caring, that's when they added new colors, but none of these were particularly limited or special. I think the core special Wii remote most jumped to is the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword Edition. Gold with Zelda insignia. It's a fine-looking controller, no doubt, but as one of the only special Wii remotes, But speaking of gold controllers, only available via special editions of GoldenEye 007 was a Golden Classic Controller Pro. I love this thing. It's just gold, and I found it used at a GameStop back in the day. Again, I will reiterate, I love this thing. Now Sony, they had more specific game-based designs than Nintendo, but at least the Wii Remote was a completely new design. You didn't necessarily have to spice it up with fun colors and shapes. The PlayStation 3 controller was derivative of this, which was derivative of this. I can keep going. They just didn't do a ton with this thing outside of mostly colors, but that changed with the PlayStation 4. Look at all these. They really upped their game. We have Uncharted 4, the 20th anniversary of PlayStation, Piss. There are so many options now. Well, looks like Microsoft finally has some competition on their hands. This is fun hell. They even fixed my biggest problem with that silver controller and have the colors displayed here. It's perfect. They even let you create your own custom controller colors online now. They are loony. But hey, this one's grease-proof, a controller that addresses the biggest gaming hurdle. See, I want to play Halo, but I just love no fork spaghetti. Now what did Nintendo do with the Wii U, the console with the most integral controller experience? Nothing. I mean, there was this Wind Waker one, which was only included in the console bundle. They never sold Wii U gamepad separately. But not even the Wii U Pro controllers got any special releases. All we got was white and black colors, but special Wii Remotes and Wii U branded boxes were released, all featuring designs based on the Mario cast. And yep, I have twins. I do feel like these character-specific Wii Wii remotes are a bit more cool than the GameCube ones. Certain colors are used on certain parts to represent the character, like the bottom 1 and 2 buttons are brown for his shoes, the plus and minus buttons are yellow for his overall buttons, the back is colored to his overalls in general. Other controller companies had similar ideas when making their own officially licensed Nintendo controllers. I have this Metal Mario Classic controller by PDP. These were primarily made for Smash Brothers for Wii U. It may not be a great controller, but it's not a good controller either. Design though is really cool, just with how shiny and metallic it looks. It almost but doesn't make up for the lackluster feeling buttons. Hori made their own licensed GameCube-like controllers for Wii remotes during Smash Wii U's Shine Time, which are far better, albeit not as good as the real deal. Which was alright, because Nintendo themselves reissued GameCube controllers for Smash Wii U's release, now with a Smash Ball on front. These are GameCube controllers alright, and Nintendo re-released them again for Smash Ultimate. I don't want to hear anybody argue this design is better than the old one. And that brings us to the Nintendo Switch, where special edition controllers are way more prevalent. Special colored Joy-Cons and Pro controllers are finally getting some love. As previously stated, I have the Xenoblade Edition, I am terrible, but I also have the Smash Brothers one, which looks great. You have the silver Smash Ball and white grips, and I can already see paint chipping off. Do you see my problem with special edition controllers? See, I really do like these controllers. They look great, they look cool, but controllers are meant to be used, and I can't use these controllers without ever feeling guilty. They're too rare and valuable. On the other hand, special edition consoles look cool, but they also make much less sense to buy if you already have the console, though the design will hold up for much longer. So, I've come to the conclusion that I won't buy anything ever. I'm not doing it!
What's up? It's March 13th, 2003. We're in New Brunswick, New Jersey. It's summertime. You know what that means. It's time to Zur. I'm gonna be young forever! Bro.
I love you.
What?
Huh?
Here we go.
And everybody in the house.
Oh!
Everybody in the house.
Oh! It's cops! It's cops! Run, camera guy! It's like that every day out here, dude.
That guy had a gun.
Yeah! I'm 15. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life. Meet me!
This is Starcade, TV's first video arcade game show, starring your favorite video games, and some brand new ones being introduced to the public for the first time anywhere. And now, here's your host for Starcade, Jeff Edwards.
All right, thank you very much. Welcome to Starcade. We're backstage. Our players are getting ready for today's match. And get ready they should, because today, one of them's going to have the opportunity to win their very own video arcade game. So players, you ready? You ready? Okay, let's go play Starcade. Nice studio audience, and we have some good contestants today. Let's meet them right now. Your name is?
Allison Cheney,
And what?
and I'm 12 years old.
Oh, and I'm 24. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Allison.
Well, as you know, I'm Allison Cheney, and
you're 12 years old.
yeah.
What else?
I live in Thousand Oaks, California, and my hobbies are baseball and softball and flag football and...
Boy, you're quite a sports freak, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Good, Allison. Nice to have you on the show. And you are?
I'm Lawrence Lee, and I just finished my sophomore year at college.
At college? No kidding. Good for you. What are you majoring in?
Business administration.
Is this a good luck piece around your neck here?
Yes, it is.
All right, well, we'll wish you good luck, Lawrence and Allison. As you know, our contestants are matched up based on their ability in playing today's games, and one of you is going to have a chance to win this fabulous video arcade game. It is Buck Rogers today. Well, Lawrence and Allison, shake hands and get ready to go play Starcade. Go on over there to the podiums, and as you get ready, Kevin will tell us about the 5 games we'll be playing today. Kev?
Jeff, where else but on Starcade can you have an old western shootout, destroy a fleet of spaceships, and run off with money bags all in 1/2 hour? Our first game today, Crow, a great combat with a terrible foe. Next is Galaxian, a whappin'-zappin' spacey chase. Guzzler, and you're a waterman. It's Bagman, a race through the mines for money, and finally, Wild Western, good guys and bad guys on a train chase. Jeff?
All right, Kevin and Allison and Lawrence, those are our 5 games. Both of you had a chance to play them before today's show. One of them is a mystery game. If you pick that within the first 3 games, you automatically win a prize, and we'll let the home audience in on that secret, what the mystery game is. Kev?
Our mystery game today is Kroll.
All right, now they know, and I'm going to ask you a question, Allison and Lawrence. First one to buzz in gets to answer the question, answer correctly, and you pick our first game. Here we go. The chef on Burger Time can score extra points by smashing Mr. Hot Dog, Mr. Egg, or Mr. Pickle between A, between burger parts, or B, with a spatula. Allison.
Spatula?
No, sorry, it's between the burger parts. That's how they get them. So, Lawrence, you get to pick our first game. What game are you going to play first?
Play Bagman.
Bagman! Oh, one of my personal favorites. So let's find out how to play Bagman.
Jeff, I know I don't need to tell you how to play this game, but for the benefit of our contestants, the money is yours for the taking. Grab it up and hurry to the waiting wheelbarrow on the surface and plunge into the mine for more. Defend yourself with the pickaxe or hop aboard a passing ore cart for a ride into another area of the mine. Save time and steps by taking the mine elevator to the surface. If a guard is in hot pursuit, slow him up by sacrificing one of the money bags. You're the bagman, and your goal is dough.
Now, Lawrence, why'd you pick Bagman?
Because I like it better than the other games.
Okay, I like Bagman too. So does our director, Phil Martino, who holds a high score here among the Starcade staff. Best thing to do, though, in 50 seconds is just to get as much money as you can and put it in that wheelbarrow. If the guard's in hot pursuit, drop the money on them, and it'll knock them out for a little while. You ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, we wish you good luck. Get ready, get set, play. There he goes. One. Wait for the guard, and then pick up the axe. Got it. Now he's going to go. 30 seconds. There's one bag of money. Whoop. You're going to be in trouble. Look out. Ah, you got one more guy, but you have time. Let's find out. Gotta climb the ladder. 13 seconds. Got the bag. Look out. Now what do you do? Now you can go. 6 seconds. 5. Will you make it? Oh, you were almost there. Well, you have 4,000 points. Lawrence, not bad in 50 seconds. Head on back. And here comes Allison. Okay, Allison. You like Bagman?
I don't know. I've only played it once, and that was here.
Oh, that was before the show. Well, it's a fun game to play if you get it right. The best thing you do is get that money into the cart, into the wheelbarrow as fast as you can, Allison, okay?
Okay.
All right, here we go. Don't get killed. 50 seconds. Ready, get set, go. There you go. Get that ladder. Oop, get the bag. There you go. Got that guard confused, I think. Oh, look out. What are you going to do now? Oh, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Oh, too bad. Okay, next guy coming up. Here we go. Which way is he going to go? Oops. Oh, those guards are smart. Now you got him. Hurry up. Can you get there in time? 10 seconds. Hurry up. Up that ladder. Come on, Allison. 5, 4. No, you dropped it too soon. Oh, no. You just dropped it before the wheelbarrow. Huh?
I said I was lousy at the game.
Well, that's all right. There's other games coming up. You have 940 points. We'll be right back to find out who gets to choose the next game here on Starcade. Stay with us, please.
A master interviewer makes more than conversation. They make moments. Talk is cheap, so we've got an hour of it. It's Attack of the Show, The Loop.
of the Starcade staff stays at the beautiful Pacific Plaza Hotel, a small Grand Lux hotel in the European tradition, 1 block from Union Square in San Francisco. The Starcade audience travels by way of Trailways bus lines. No bus, plane, or train gets you there cheaper than Trailways. Go Big Red, go Trailways. The grand prize today on Starcade is the video arcade game Buck Rogers, and you'll be on a race through space in the 25th century, fighting your way through heavily armed channels, through formidable smasher tunnels, and around the towering spires of a cosmic city. It's Buck Rogers, furnished by Sega Electronics. And now back to Starcade with Jeff Edwards.
Okay, Kevin. Well, Bagman is over with. Let's see how we stand at this point. Allison, you have 940 points. And Lawrence, you have 4,000 points. Okay, Lawrence. Now, Allison, I don't want you to feel too bad. We've had a player here on Bagman only get 50 points, so you did okay. And, of course, Lawrence, you're in the lead. But there is one more game to be played in this round, and the total points scored on both games will determine who gets to play the name of the game board. So I have a question, if you guys are ready. Here we go. Frogger rescues the lady frog from the floating log. He gets extra points. A, automatically. B, when and if he reaches home base. Lawrence.
A, automatically.
No, it's when and if he reaches home base. And Allison, good for you. You get the advantage. Now, let's see if you can pick a game that Lawrence is going to have trouble with. What do we play?
That, trawl. Or
crawl. Crawl. All right, that's the mystery game. Good for you. You get a prize, and Kevin will tell you what it is.
It's a White's metal detector featuring ground exclusion balance to help you locate coins, jewelry, and precious metals while excluding mineralized soil. A metal detector from White's Electronics.
All right. And to find out how to play that game, we'll ask the man who learned to crawl after he learned to walk. Kev?
Sometimes, Jeff, you can be so cruel. You're on a mission to rescue Princess Lisa from the beast. First, collect the pieces of your weapon, the glaive, avoiding the crushing boulders. Then begin the adventure, picking up your army for points, defending yourself with the glaive. And that's a magic weapon that always returns. You are Kroll.
All right, I'm going to give you some hints on this game, okay, Allison?
Okay.
And you listen too, Lawrence, if you will. When you go to pick up the glaive, those boulders are going to be coming down at you. If you stay at the edges, you're safe, all right?
Okay.
All right, then if you get to the next screen, you're going to want to pick up your own army, but they'll come to you as you go and fire at the aliens.
All right.
All right, you ready to go?
Yes.
Good luck to you, Allison. Get ready, get set, play. Gotta get the glaive. There's one. There's two. Way to go. It's a little tougher now. Hang out to the edge. Is there an opening? There's the opening. Good for you. Now it's a tough run. Can you make it? Look out. All right. 20 seconds. Doing great. 15 seconds to go. 10 seconds. Here comes that scream. 8,880. Well played, Allison. Terrific. Head on back. Here comes Lawrence. 8,880. Lawrence, that's a pretty tough score. What do you think?
I don't know. I'll try.
How are you at this game?
Average.
Average, all right. We'll find out what average is. You have 50 seconds. Get ready, get set, play. All right, here we go. There's one of them. There's two. Good. It's tougher now. Look out, look out. Good move. Wide open. No, missed it. There, you got it. You have about 15 seconds to go with that second screen. It's coming up. And we're off. 10. Good. 7,380. righty, Lawrence, head on back. Even the score up a little bit there, but whether it's going to be enough for Allison, I'm not sure. Both of you had a chance to play Bagman and Kroll, and now one of you is going to play for a special prize, so we'll total up the scores from both games to see who gets to play the Name the Game board. And Allison, you have a total so far of 9,820. Lawrence, you have 11,380. Lawrence, you get to play the Name the Game board. Okay, behind you, as you know, is the Name the Game board. Don't look at it right yet, okay? Because we're going to show you 4 video games, and if you name the games correctly, you're going to win a good prize. Now, you ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay, now you can turn around. Take a look up there in the upper left-hand corner. Is that Robbie Roto or Dig Dug?
Robbie Roto.
Right you are, that's one. Number 2, is that Rescue or Sea Battle?
Sea Battle.
No, sorry, it's Rescue. Number 3, Cosmic Chasm or Reactor?
Cosmic Chasm.
No, it's Reactor. That's too bad. Let's just take number 4. Is that Kicks or Fusars?
Kicks.
Yes, it is Kicks. Okay. Well, that's it. all 4 are gone. You only got 2 out of 4. That's not enough for a prize, but you're in the lead, and we'll see whether you can take home your Buck Rogers or if Allison is going to catch up right after these words.
Here's the latest video game news from the Starcade hotline. There's a whole lineup of games now that have been created from successful movies or television series. Tron started it all. First came the movie and then the game. Then Buck Rogers went from television to game. Next came Star Trek, and then the big box office hit Star Wars went video. And at the same time, a movie and a game were released for the very first time. Kroll, a journey into a magical land. The logic for turning successful movies into games is pretty obvious. The game really puts you into the action. Plenty of action left today on Starcade. Here's Jeff Edwards.
Right in the middle of the action at round 2. 1 game left to play. 40 seconds to play it. After that, we'll total up all the scores, and the top scorer on all games is going to get a chance to win that Buck Rogers game. So, Allison, you ready? Lawrence, you ready? Here's your question. Oh, over here's your question. There you are. Okay. How many snow bees hatch to pursue Pengo the penguin when the game begins? A, 3, B, 4. I'll read it again. How many snow bees hatch to pursue Pengo the penguin when the game begins? A, 3, B, 4. Lawrence.
3.
3 is right. Good for you. All right, Lawrence. There's 3 games left. Which one shall it be?
Guzzler.
Guzzler. Guzzler it is. And there's only one person to tell us about Guzzler, and that's Kevin.
It's the Guzzler, a waterman putting out fireballs, flashes, and demons, collecting more water from puddles, or by just walking if he's completely empty. The faster he extinguishes the fire, the bigger the points. He's a waterman, the Guzzler.
Okay, Kevin. Well, Lawrence, about all I can tell you about this game, and Allison, you might want to listen to, is if you see the glass or the pitchers in the center and you can get to those, you're going to get some bonus points.
Okay.
Now, don't run out of water. If you run out of water, you got to go drink some or just walk around and you'll fill up. Ready to go?
Yes.
All right, you have 40 seconds. Wish you good luck. Get ready. Get set. Play. Here we go. Got it. Can you get back? Let's see. Oops, you may be in trouble. Yes, you've got to get some water. Look out. Look out. Ah! Okay, about 15 seconds left. Here you go. Good. You got them both. All right. 2,640. A little trouble with the water, huh?
Yes.
Okay, Lawrence, head on back. Let's see what happens with Allison. Come on, Allison. Now, Allison, you need some points, right?
Yes.
You got any particular strategy you're going to use on old Guzzler?
No, just that I want to win.
Well, I don't blame you for wanting to win. There's a big prize at stake here. Let's see how well you do, and you got a chance to catch up now. Just don't get burned up, okay?
All right.
Here we go. 40 seconds. Get ready, get set, play. And here goes Allison. Good, that's the way to do it. seconds. Here we go. Try to get those flames. No, you burned up again. Be careful, Allison. 15 seconds to go. Try to get those flames for bonus points. All right. 3,100. Well, Allison, you beat Lawrence at Guzzler, but whether it's enough points, we'll find out in a minute. Head on back next to Lawrence. And now comes the time when we add up all the scores and find out who today's big winner is. Allison, your grand total is 12,920. Nicely played, Allison. Lawrence sits with 14,020. Lawrence, you got it. You're the winner today. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nice play. And Allison, you won our mystery game prize, so you don't go home empty-handed. I hope you had a good time.
I did.
And I hear you want to be the first lady baseball player.
Yes.
I hope you make it. Good luck to you. Nice
Thank
hand
you.
for Allison. She played a good game. And for you, Lawrence, we have something in particular, and that is a prize for being the big winner. Kevin?
First, it's Konicka's new Disc 15, the world's first autofocus disc camera. Get sharp pictures from 14 inches to infinity automatically. The only disc camera on Earth with autofocus, Disc 15 by Konica. And the Spectre Video SV318, the personal computer you grow into and not out of, featuring built-in CPM compatibility, 32K of ROM, 32K of RAM, 10 user-definable functions, and a built-in joystick from Spectre Video.
Well, let's see if Lawrence can keep up the good work and see if he can take Buck Rogers home with him. We'll find out if he does right after this.
See you soon.
Some of our contestants and some members of the studio audience will receive Trigger Command, the joystick making America trigger happy. Comfort, pistol grip, and trigger action, the thumbless approach to higher scores, the Trigger Command joystick from Electra Concepts. And 2 brand new games for the Atari by Tronix, Juice and Kid Grid. Fast action, complex strategy, superior sound, and multiple levels of play by Tronix. And Astro Snicks. They live on the happy, friendly planetoid called Snickeria, which millions of light years ago came to our solar system from the Milky Way. Astro Snicks are available at fine gift stores everywhere.
And welcome back to Starcade. Well, Lawrence, now it's time to go for the big prize. It's a chance for you to win your own video arcade game. It is Buck Rogers today. We have 2 games left unplayed, Wild Western and Galaxian. Now, during the commercial, we informed you that if you picked Wild Western, you'd have to score at least 543 points. If you picked Galaxian, you'd have to score at least 1,483 points. Those are the average scores of more than 20 other players that played these same games. And you reached a decision, and you picked...
Galaxian.
Galaxian. Okay, Galaxian is it. That means if you score 1,483 points or more in 30 seconds, you're going to win our grand prize. That Buck Rogers is going to be yours. So we'll ask Kevin to tell us about Galaxian, and you and I will get ready to go over to the game.
Okay.
We are the Galaxians, and we have but a single ship to stop the attacking aliens. We can zap them while they're in formation, or get them in flight for bigger points. And if we can zap the flagship and its escorts, that's best of all, for we are the Galaxians.
Thank you, Kevin. Are you pretty familiar with this game?
Yes.
All right, you know then that if when they peel off to attack you, you get more points for the attacking ships. Right. If you see 2 reds and a yellow, hit the 2 reds first, then the yellow, and you get extra points.
Okay.
All right, that's what you need to do in 30 seconds. Score 1,483 points, and Buck Rogers is yours. Get ready, get set, play. Go, keep going, keep going. 14, 20, 14, 15. That does it. You got it, Lawrence. You can quit right now. You got Buck Rogers. He didn't want to quit. Congratulations to you, Lawrence. Buck Rogers is yours. You are the big winner here today on Starcade. This is Jeff Edwards from Starcade. See you in the next show. Until then, hope all your troubles get zapped. Bye-bye.
This is Kevin McMahon speaking. Starcade is a JM production.
All right. What do you think?
Ooh, we gotta do something about those.
Well, I thought we both liked the Dukes.
The Dukes are great. I love the Dukes. Your ass is tight. It's the knees. You're ashy.
Oh, yeah, I guess they're a little dry.
Yeah, like Palm Springs tumbleweed ashy.
Oh.
Like Casper the friendly dry ass ghost ashy.
Gotcha.
Ash, catch 'em eating flaky sourdough bread, Ashy.
Whoa.
We need that. We want it.
And that's just one day without lotion.
Yeah, okay, fine, I'll go. On a quest for lotion!
Cassim. Hey, you good?
Yes, yes, of course. Stranger, perhaps you can help me. I come seeking the gift of the golden liquid lotion to quench the thirst of mine ashy knees.
Or you could just go to the store.
Yeah, but that's a whole thing. I'm not gonna.
If you want the lotion of the true power, you must journey deep below the G4 fortress and seek of the legendary creamer.
Yes. Wonderful. Thank you so much. You won't regret this, young black child. I'm forever in your debt.
Man, I hope this motherfucker finds some lotion for them joints, because he is down bad.
Hello?
Who dares enter my domain?
Lotioner. Oh, I found you. I've traveled many a dark stairway and endured 2 conversations with annoying co-workers, all in the hopes that you would give me this secret lotion for my ashy ass legs.
Very well, but you now must pass a near impossible trial.
Please, I'll do anything. I'll conquer any challenge and tame any...
$300.
Oh, just pay you?
Yeah.
Alright, that's a little anticlimactic.
It's like really good lotion.
Yeah,
It's worth it, man. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. No, at this point, it's a steal. Here you go.
Nice.
Thank you for the gift, mysterious stranger.
Yeah, no problem.
Fiona? Why would you have me go on a adventurous quest for lotion when you've had lotion this whole time?
$300, Cass.
That's really messed up. You took advantage of both of us, Fiona. Come on.
Yeah, I would have just gave you the money if you needed it. Well, thanks.
I can't believe he fell for it.
Yes, sir. That was beyond easy.
And just like that, after 2 days of planning and work, we all made $90.
Wait a minute. My nipples are kind of dry. Y'all got any lotion?
Yeah, I do. I got it.
Yeah. Take care of yourself. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Am I doing this right?
We should mug that old woman over there.
Yeah. Oh, no, not her.
What? Why not?
Why? Well, it's my grandmother.
What's that got to do with anything?
Well, she helped raise me. She taught me everything I know about mugging.
Well, precisely. She's already in the game. She knows what's up. Let's go mug her.
Oh, no, come on. She's a small, helpless, frail old woman.
As if to prove my point. She's helpless, she's frail, she's probably got lots of money.
Oh, yeah, she's very wealthy from a lifetime of mugging people.
Well, then let's go mug her!
No. I love her.
Hey, what? Hey, what? Hey, what? Where are we?
We're muggers.
Yeah. What am I to do?
All of them. Mug people. Go mug them. So let's go mug them. Sorry, Grandma.
Yeah, there can be seen, man. I found out that I have.
This is so dumb.
What's that, man?
This YouTube channel that I'm subscribed to, they normally do quite good stuff. This episode had no punchline. It's like it was edited wrong. They just suddenly...
Okay, come on. Here we go.
And
come on, Ben. Come, Ben. I need to run up. Hang on. Slightly earlier, Ben. Slightly earlier. No, that was too early, Ben. Ben, you got to jump, crouch. At the same time, jump, crouch, and go. Nope. Crouch, jump. That's what it is. Yeah. Crouch, jump. At the same time, jump, crouch, and go. Nope. You jump, then crouch, jump. Just. Oh my God, Ben. I think I need to run up. Go on. Here we go. No, good. Oh God! Run! Just leave him! Run! Just leave him.
Adam, come on, mate! You know I'd never leave you knocked down. Guys! Adventurer, I need your aid.
How can I help?
My wife passed away recently, and I haven't had time to visit the graveyard. Could you please place these flowers on her gravestone for me?
Accept.
Good luck, adventurer. Good luck, adventurer. Good luck, adventurer. Oh. I miss my wife dearly. Good luck, adventurer.
Yeah, okay, can you just be quiet for a sec? I'm just trying to pick out the flowers.
Good luck, adventurer.
Okay.